All right, Brendan Taylor here, Tru School Sports. I'm with the one and only, the infamous Rick Glaser. What's going on, Rick?
Just want to wish everybody a happy new year, and I hope the new year goes as well for them as I expect it to go for you and myself.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I had you on here. My fault, of course, but it's good to have you back on.
Anything goes wrong is always your fault.
Yeah. Well, Rick, let's get right into it, man. We were just talking about it before the live started. You just celebrated your 35th year in the fight game involved in boxing this past January 1st. Before we get into all the topics in boxing, just real quickly, reflect on your journey in boxing, 35 years, because that's a long time to devote to anything.
It's definitely had its ups and downs. I've given my heart and soul to boxing, and it's worked out. I mean, here I am, 35 years later, age 67, and one thing about me that very few people know is I've never ever had a job in my entire life. So I've always been self-employed, no matter what I did. Some of it was illegal, but at least I did it. So
You find a way to get it how you live, one way or the other.
yeah, I eat what I kill. So it's been a good ride. I have no complaints. I continue on every day, and I look forward to waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and making deals. And it's a funny thing in my business. I wake up at 4 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, if I haven't done a deal, I get depressed. When most people are just getting going. So
Yeah.
it's the way it works. So, but I enjoy it. I love boxing, of course. So you have to love boxing to do this, and I do. And it's been great. I have no complaints. Where would a guy like myself know people like Donald Trump and Bob Arum and Don King, and the list goes on and on. Turki Alalshikh. I was,
Brendan Taylor, Sean Tatel.
yeah. Well, Sean and Daniel Rubin, and there's a lot of quality guys out there.
Kamala.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, Rick. Well, you had mentioned Turki Alalshikh. Um, I have my own impression of him. I never met the guy, but what I know you've done some business with Turkey, right?
Yes.
What have your business dealings with Turki Alalshikh been like?
A gentleman, man of his word, great sense of humor. I have no complaints. Nothing about the guy. I have no complaints at all. He's a gentleman. I wish more people were like him in boxing. I wish everybody was like him in boxing, to be honest with you. Um, like I said, he's a gentleman. He's a man of his word. He tells you he's going to do something, he does it. He tells you if he's not going to do something, he'll tell you up front. It's not like, let me see what I can do. Let me look into it. It's a no. And that's the best way to work. And I believe in being upfront with people, and he's every bit of that.
Okay. I know you probably can't get into the particulars, but like how many deals have you done with Turki Alalshikh?
Just three small ones. That's all.
It's like little prelim fights or something like that, or
Yeah, two of them were prelim fights, and one of them was something else. And it's just small stuff, but it's my core business. Small stuff is my core business. I make approximately probably 8 big deals a year, and everything else is bread and butter type stuff. So it's my normal everyday stuff is bread and butter.
okay. I know glazerboxing.com, it's your bread and butter, it's your brand, right? A lot of people, Rick, some people they still don't know what you do. So in the new year, Rick, could you refresh everyone's memory? What does Rick Glaser do exactly in the fight game?
I glazerboxing.com is a 24/7, 365 worldwide provider of quality, elevated supplemental services to the professional boxing business globally since now 1991. What do? I make fights. I bring promoters fighters for long-term agreements. I negotiate long-term agreements. I'm an expert witness in boxing-related lawsuits. I do approximately 2.5 of those a year on an average. Just a little bit of everything. A promoter has a problem, he can't close the deal, he'll call me up and say, Rick, here's the deal, we can pay this is what they're looking for, get this deal closed. I'll send you a check, blah blah blah, for myself. and that's what I do all day long. I resolve problems in boxing. Nobody calls me and says, "Oh, Rick, I got a layup for you. Here's an easy deal." It doesn't work like that. They have in-house guys that work for them that can do those deals. When the in-house guys can't solve a problem, and there is a problem, they can't solve it, they come to me and say, "Hey, Rick, handle this deal. Okay, handle this." I also I do arbitration and mediation and lawsuits. I do a lot of that too, where somebody's about to sue somebody, is going to sue somebody, or that's already in lawsuit, and I can come in and work out a settlement for both parties where everybody walks away not necessarily happy, but at least satisfied.
Okay. You mentioned lawsuits. What's the most famous lawsuit you've worked on? Any high profile ones in boxing?
Sugar Ray Leonard, Joe Macy sued, baby Joe Macy sued each other in the 2000s. It was about 2002, 3, 4 in that area, and I was the expert witness for Sugar Ray Leonard,
Really?
but it never went to trial. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How did that come about? Like the promoters contacted you, or Sugar Ray got a hold of you, or?
One of Sugar Ray's guys got a hold of me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's one of the many things I do right now. I'm involved in 2 lawsuits. One of them I'm defending a corporate. I'm the expert witness for a major corporation that's in boxing, and the other one I'm on the fighter's side on another deal. I'm involved with the fighter as their expert witness in a lawsuit versus a promoter.
Damn. Okay. So it's busy guy.
Yep.
Very busy guy. All right, Rick. Well, thank you for refreshing all of us. And I wanted to get into like some of the topics in boxing. I know you've been big advocate for Terence Crawford. I know you were probably one of the most staunch supporters of him going into the Canelo fight. He beat Canelo. You were proven right. He retired now, at least for the time being. When you look at his career, Rick, 42-0, 3-time undisputed, all that stuff, where is his place in history in your eyes? Like, where does he fall amongst the all-time great fighters?
I feel that if he was in the era of the 4 kings, which was Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, and Duran, he would have been 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss versus all those guys. If he fought 4 times, he'd be 2-2, because that was the greatest era of welterweights, junior middleweights, and middleweights. So I would say he would be, and that's not a mock on Terence Crawford. That's a compliment that he would fit in with those guys. I think he would have beaten the Wilfredo Benitez's. He would have beaten Donald Curry. He would have beaten those guys. But those other 4 guys, he'd be 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss, or 1 win. Just the way it is. They were all great fighters.
Who do you think stylistically would have given them the toughest matchup of the 4 kings?
I would say Ray Leonard, because of his high ring IQ. And his savagery in the ring. He was, tremendous. Guy had huge heart, and he was great on the inside, great on the outside, and I think that would have been his toughest fight. I think he would have counterpunched Hearns. I think he would have counterpunched Duran, even though Duran was a great counterpuncher himself. I think that Hagler, I think some people think I'm crazy, but I think he would have beaten. I think he had enough in the tank that the Ray Leonard that fought Hagler, I think that I think Crawford would have beaten him, even though Crawford never fought 160, went 54-68. I envision him being an excellent 160 based on the fact that he won at 168.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I always thought like Thomas Hearns would have given him the hardest time of the 4.
I don't think so, because Hearns didn't have a good defense, and Hearns didn't have a good chin, and Hearns left himself wide open to get counterpunched. And you can't beat Terence's rig IQ, and you can't beat his counterpunching. That's why I think he would have beaten Hearns.
Yeah, but he's still 6'2", and Crawford is gonna exchange with him. He's going to exchange
So
for him.
Crawford's smart enough not to exchange with him. See, that's why I beg to differ.
Not in that fight. I think in that fight he's probably going to exchange.
I don't know.
We'll never know, but like we'll never know.
He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna exchange with a guy 6'2". I think he's gonna wait on the guy, and that's. But this is why we're talking about it, because it's very intriguing.
Yeah, it is. I just think about. I mean, I know like the Mean Machine fights, and other guys who are not Thomas Hearns. I think Thomas Hearns lands that right hand in Crawford.
Remember something. Crawford didn't respect those guys. He would have respected Hearns and Leonard and Duran and Hagler. And that's what separates the men from the boys, right there. Knowing your own limitations and knowing what you have to do to win those kind of fights. That is what made Terence Crawford great.
Yeah, I don't know. I just find it hard. I don't know how. I think he would have a hard time waiting on a 6'2" guy with a world-class jab and a world-class right hand. It's gonna find him at some point, and when it finds him, I don't know. But it's fun to talk about.
Well, put it this way to you. What's his name? Found him in 2 fights. Barkley, he couldn't box a lick.
I ran. Yeah.
And he had a low ring IQ.
Fair enough. I saw your post where you said that Crawford, you think Crawford would have beat Floyd at 147.
Absolutely. Not a. And there's 3 other boxing guys that feel the same way. So
which other 3? Can you name them or no?
No, but one of them is in the Hall of Fame. Let's put it that way, as a boxing guy.
Does one of them work for Top Rank?
No shit. You're a genius. Yeah. You should have been a detective.
I have an idea of who it is. I think it would have been a great fight. Like 2 of the best counter punchers of all time.
I think that in a fight like that, that Crawford would know that Floyd can't hurt him. He would take more chances in a fight like that than he would against a Thomas Hearns type guy who knows he can get hurt by him.
Yeah. Okay.
And one more thing about Terence Crawford, he had offense with both hands, and he had offense while playing defense, and Floyd didn't have that kind of offense. Floyd was a good jab and a good straight right to the body and a good short right to the chin once in a while. Didn't have a lot of offense. He won fights by making the other guy look bad.
I mean, he had enough.
What's that?
He had enough offense.
He had enough offense. I mean, certain guys win fights by making the other guy look bad. Paul Spadafora, that's how he won fights. He made the other guy look bad.
That was your guy.
Right. And Floyd fought the same way. So I really feel that. I just think that Crawford has too much offense. And Crawford is tremendously strong and has tremendous balance, too. And that's from a wrestling background when he was a kid.
You think he would box Floyd out of the southpaw stance, or would that be an orthodox fight?
No, he'd switch up. He'd switch up. He'd counter punch him. He'd be aggressive one time. He'd move around him. He'd walk forward. He'd switch everything up to confuse him.
Okay.
You can't beat Crawford's ring IQ. I don't care. Floyd had a great ring IQ, but Crawford is just mentality is unbelievable.
I think Floyd's mentality is just as good, if not better.
Well, then he should have had more offense then.
Well, he did when he was at lower weight classes.
Yeah. Once he moved up, he did.
Problems. He had to inject a lidocaine in his hands. Like,
if my mother had balls, she'd be my father. But in this day, that could happen.
I hear you, Rick. We got our first super chat. My man El Jefe asked, "What happened to Charles Conwell? He said he's been shelved." No,
he has been shelved. He had an injury that was nagging. He's taking care of it. He's going to come back very shortly.
Okay, so Golden Boy is still gonna,
Yeah. He's not shelved.
Busy.
Not shelved. Golden Boy does not shelve fighters. I mean, they're bringing Jordan Panthon back, and he lost his last fight.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about Golden Boy going into 2026, Rick? Like, I felt like they had a better 2025 than in some of the previous years. But what do you feel about Golden Boy's outlook?
I don't think it's any different. They got some big name fighters going to be in some big fights. So it depends if these guys win. If those guys come through, then they're golden.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the DAZN deal expire this year?
It supposedly expires this summer, but they're working on a new deal as we speak. That's
Okay.
what I'm told. And then I didn't hear that from Golden Boy. I heard that from a reporter.
Okay. Have you heard anything about a Top Rank deal? Because I know you cool with a lot of guys at Top. None at all.
Sad but true. As of right now, as of the other day, it was 5. As of December 26th, Christmas Day. There was 5 months since their last TV show on ESPN. They still haven't announced anything.
Yeah, because I was under the impression that at least I was hoping by the calendar year they would have something announced, and there's nothing announced. They got their fights on Tubi. They're outsourcing a lot of their fighters, their promotional companies to keep them busy. It's very bleak.
That's a good word, bleak.
Yeah, it's just bleak. Okay.
Very bleak.
Well, with Crawford out the picture, Rick, there's a vacancy for now. Who's the best fighter in the world? You got Usyk, you got Inoue. Who do you think is the best fighter in the world right now? Is it one of those guys, or is it somebody else? I know you're high on Bam Rodriguez. Who do you think is the best fighter?
Well, I think the combination, if you ask me, and let's take Crawford out of the picture. Let's take him for his word that he's retired. Let's say he's not going to come back, and if he does, maybe he does for one fight. So it's still like retired.
Mm-hmm.
You got to when you talk about ring IQs and great fighters, you got Usyk, you got Inoue, you got Bam, you got Shakur, and you got Oscar Collazo.
Okay.
And 105 pounds is a weight class, and it counts.
No, it is. I follow the 105-pound division. I know the fighters down there.
You don't weigh much more than that.
No, I'm walking around like a cool 140 right now, Rick.
Really?
Like 140 right now. Maybe 140. I'm a little fat right now for my standards, but
I would have guessed it looked like a 112 pounder to me.
No, we just carry it well. But
okay.
But so those are your 5. Collazo, Bam, Usyk. You mentioned Shakur. You mentioned Inoue. I know in the past and even on our phone call earlier, you said that you feel like Inoue's ring IQ isn't as high as people think it is. That it's just more so about.
No, he's more fast, and his physicality overcomes his lack of a great ring IQ. He does have a good ring IQ, but not fitting in with those guys.
Okay, because a lot
ability fits in with those guys, but not ring IQ.
I understand. Because I mean, I'd push back a little bit. I know people would as well, and they would say, "Well, look, Rick, he's fighting these top contenders like the Merjons and Picasso, these guys, and he's changing his style up, and he's beating these guys, 10 rounds to 2."
But that's because of speed and his physicality of speed and power and all that and balance. That's got nothing to do with ring IQ. He's beating the guys on talent. His ring IQ's all right, but it's not bad. I mean, he's not an Iran Barkley.
Yeah. Yeah, I know earlier when we were talking, you said that the reason you feel it's not as high is because he gets clipped too much.
Right. He just get clipped a lot on number 1, and number 2 is he gets caught switching up from going from inside and outside too much. He pulls straight back and just does things that great fighters don't, guys with high ring IQs don't do.
Okay. Will those things get him in trouble against Junto Nakatani? I know they're supposed to fight at the Tokyo Dome. It's going to be a big fight.
Well, I'm up on the Japanese boxing scene, but you're way more than I am. You tell me.
More than anybody. Yeah, I would say yes. Yes, I think so. I think Junto doesn't have enough top level experience for this kind of fight. I was saying that for a while. And I think the Reyes fight it confirmed that to me. And I think Inoue should beat him decisively when they fight.
I can see that. Nakatani's got a good ring IQ.
Yeah. His issue isn't ring IQ or anything like that. I just think it's a matter of top level experience. He hasn't fought the quality of competition that Inoue has.
Not too many people have, and all the weight classes.
But I'm saying like he
Usyk
just
had.
doesn't have. He hasn't had too many elite guys that have given him any resistance before
True.
into this fight. The last 3 years up until this fight, he's been knocking out everybody before before the second half of the fight. So he hasn't had to go rounds in a long time. And now when he does, he ran out of ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think, Rick, about Inoue going to featherweight? A lot of people want to see him go to featherweight. Who do you feel would give him the
I,
toughest challenge up there?
I think because Espinosa's height and length and that those long arms and power and stuff and left-handed, I think that Espinosa and him would be a real rumble.
You mean Espinosa?
What do you think?
I like that. Espinosa fight's good, but I don't think that guys with these long torsos can beat a guy like Inoue. It's too much body to hit. He gets real tall right there in front of you. I think Inoue will beat him.
Makes sense. I'm not saying he wouldn't win, but I think that's a good fight.
It's definitely it's a good fight. It's a good fight.
It's intriguing.
Call it bias on my end if you want, but I think the Angelo Leo fight is the best fight at him for that division. That division. I think Angelo has some things for him.
Okay.
Volume
I'll buy
wise,
that.
body punching wise.
I tend to agree.
Okay. And then Nick Ball. I think Nick Ball. I think Inoue beats Ball. But
Nick Ball gets blown out. He gets hit too much. His balance, he looks like a dog taking a piss on a fire hydrant. He gets blown out.
No chance. You can Nick Ball. No chance.
No, he might last a little while, okay, because there's so much grit, grit and all that, but he's gonna get blown out. Just
I think he makes it real
of
ugly. I think Nick Ball makes that fight. I think Nick Ball makes that fight real ugly.
Yeah, I think he does. I think that's the easiest fight of the guys at 126. Nick Ball.
Even more than let's say if Shushu were to be Carlos Castro, even more than a Bruce Carrington.
No, Shushu can punch, and Shushu's got fast hands and fast feet, good balance, and a good ring IQ.
Okay. So you're not down on Shushu because the Suleiman Tagawa fight, because a lot of he didn't perform well.
Listen, every guy that became a world champion had a tough time with somebody along the way. Riddick Bowe had trouble with Bigfoot Martin and who was the other guy? He had trouble. Who?
Tony Tubbs?
No, somebody else. He had trouble with two guys.
Everett Morrow was one of them for sure.
Yeah, Bigfoot Martin, somebody else, but he had trouble with two different guys, and he was one. They all do. Coming up, they all do. And he had trouble with one guy. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Shushu's a good fighter. He's very good fighter.
He's going so after that Tagawa fight, what I've noticed from Top Rank is that they matched him up with mostly come forward guys, and he's more of a counter punch mid-range fighter. Now he's going into a fight with Carlos Castro, who's a rangy boxer. How do you see that, Rick? Do you feel like maybe?
I think Castro's on the back nine, and he's too slow. He's just a guy, and Carrington's supposed to win that fight.
Okay. Fair enough. We got a super chat. My man El Jefe says, is Ryan going to PBC for Barrios? Will there be no more Oscar De La Hoya?
No, it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 promotion.
Yeah. How do you feel about that one, Rick? Ryan Garcia and Barrios. I feel like there's a lot of
I have no confidence in Ryan Garcia, no matter who he fights.
Just is it because of his lack of discipline to the sport, or
everything? Everything. He's a fucking putz. I mean, really. And Germans, Jewish Germans, they call him Shamil. He's a Shamil.
It's a Shamil.
Shamil.
It's a new one. Shamil. What's your confidence level in Mario Barrios? Because he had the fight with Abel Ramos that got Manny Pacquiao's wife so confident that he said, Manny, go fight him, and then Manny fought him, and a lot of people thought Manny beat him. So are you really confident in either one of these guys?
I'm not confident in either one of them, but I don't have any confidence in Ryan. At least Mario Barrios, is going to come in 100% in the best condition he can come in, and he's going to give 1,000% of himself because he's a professional. The other jerk off, the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's over here doing videos with with these Instagram models and these these whores, and he's just messing about. So we'll see. Maybe I've heard people say, Rick, that they feel like Ryan Garcia is deceiving the public because he's not showing any training clips, and he's actually training like behind the scenes. What do you think? You don't trust him at all, do you? Right?
I have no confidence in him at all.
Okay.
I just don't.
I understand.
You just something you can't bet on a guy like that. You can't do anything. You can't put your hopes and prayers into a guy that he just keeps getting opportunities because he's an attraction.
I hear you. In the event, Rick, that he actually if he wins, if he actually wins, becomes the WBC champion, that will set up the potential Devin Haney rematch. Do you think that's the biggest fight in boxing if Ryan actually does become champion, or at least in America? Does it become the biggest fight in America?
It's not even the biggest fight in America. It's a fight that people will want to see based on what happened in the first fight, and if Ryan redeems himself and picks up a world title. So it's got ebb and flow as far as drawing people and people's interest. So yeah, it could be interesting. But Ryan's the type of guy, he could win a fight like that against Barrios, and then he won't even train to fight fucking Haney. He's just been a jerk off. That's what jerk offs are. He jumps around from trainer to trainer, and his father's involved in helping train him, and he really. I mean, the janitor at a boxing gym knows more than his father. Come on.
Damn. So no respect for Henry Garcia. I mean, he did, guide him as an amateur fighter. Like, when he was an amateur, he did get him to a certain place and got him to a place where
Question for you. How many other fighters has Henry Garcia, professionals, has he managed or trained?
To my knowledge, 0.
Case closed. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll stay at 147, Rick. I know we had that fight with Devin Haney and Brian Pillman Jr. a couple months ago. Devin Haney wound up winning. What I wanted to ask you actually was what do you feel will be like the best course of action for Brian Pillman Jr. going forward? What do you think is going to happen next for his career?
Get a real trainer and ditch his father as a trainer.
Just get rid of Senior.
Mm-hmm. They were disorganized in the corner. They had no strategy in the corner. They didn't make any adjustments. They didn't do anything. Not a good sign.
Okay. As far as opponents though, like what do you think will be next for him? Because I know like Top Rank has a couple guys in house.
I don't know. You're asking me something I can't answer because Top Rank, his promoter, doesn't have a TV deal, so it's hard to say.
Fair enough. Okay. I was thinking maybe like Tiger Johnson or Rohan Polanco.
I mean, okay, yeah, but who's paying for it? Top Rank doesn't have the money.
Yeah,
they got both fighters, so
they'll probably have to come in as a B-side then on another card, on another promoter's card or something like that, because Top Rank, they don't got nothing going on.
We'll see.
Okay. I know Keyshawn Davis is slated to fight Jermaine Ortiz in a really interesting fight. First fight at 140, coming off a layoff. What do you think about that matchup?
I think that was very unprofessional what he did in his last fight where he missed the weight. I feel he did it intentionally. I feel that there was enough detractors saying he wasn't going to win that fight. And I think he did it intentionally to bail out of the fight, losing the title in the meantime also. And I don't think he could make the weight anymore and be strong. I could make the weight but not be strong. I think going up to 140 pounds is a good move for him. I think he's a very good fighter, but he's got to show me that he wants to do this. The last thing in not making weight, then making no effort, showed me that he's a fucking idiot. So, first of all, he calls himself the businessman. He blew a $1.3 million payday.
That's not good business.
No, that's not good business. Even if you don't call yourself the businessman, let alone if you do. So,
correct. Do you? He's mentioned he's floated the idea around that if he beats Jermaine Ortiz, he wants to go to 147 right after this fight.
bad idea.
Bad idea? Why? Why is that a bad idea?
You should stay at 140 pounds. Those guys. It's a big jump from 35 to 40 up to all the way up to 47. Completely different human being. His punches at 35 and 40 are good. Those same punches at 147 will bounce off guys like they don't exist.
Okay.
Just like Floyd. Who did he knock out at 47? He was knocking out people at 35 and 40. Never knocked out anybody at 47.
Victor Ortiz. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. By the way, Rick, your buddy's here. Your boy Daniel Rubin, pro box in the building. He says, "Wow, this is great." And Slick Rick looks amazing, and he likes your new hat.
New hat. I've had this for years. What the fuck's he talking about?
I don't know. You got to take it up with him. But he's saying you got a new hat. You look great. You know.
No, he's never seen me wear because I only wear it in bad weather.
And right now you in upstate New York where it's snowing outside. It's
I was in Florida for 8 days, and it was a dream.
Yeah,
and
by Florida standards, it was cold by Florida standards.
No, it wasn't. It was 77 to 81 every day.
Yeah, some people complain about that, Rick. 70 degrees. Softies.
I don't.
We got a super chat, Rick. El Jefe says, "Why is Zurdo selling his belt to PBC and David Benavidez?" What do you think about that fight, Rick? Benavidez
who's selling what? The guy's a WBA and WBO champ, and it's a multi-million-dollar fight, and he's got a great shot to win. Nobody's ever seen David Benavidez over 175 pounds. He's fighting a big guy who weighs 200 pounds. He's left-handed, and it's going to be a fight.
He only has one loss, and that's to Bivol.
It's a fight. Nobody's selling shit.
Yeah, it's a unification fight too. You know, Benavidez goes up there, gets 2 more belts. And the thing is too, like you have Jai Patai, who's in the weight class, who's the
biggest fight you can make in the United States right now in that weight class. For
sure. I know, like right now, there's really no money in fighting Opataya because I know Turkey. And then they gave Jai Patai, I believe it was a $1 million budget to fight on one of the cards out there in England, and like they couldn't get Chris Billups to agree to the money or whatever. So yeah, it's the biggest money fight.
No question.
What do you think about Jai Patai, Rick? Because I don't think I've ever asked you about Jai Patai.
I'm high on him, but I think everybody overrates him as some kind of killer. And I don't think he's that. He's good. Don't get me wrong. But when Holyfield was around at cruiserweight, he was better. There's been better cruiserweights than him over the years. But he's good. Very good fighter.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of those narratives come from the fact that he's putting these guys in the hospital, like he's getting these highlight reel knockouts. Yeah, the guy like these guys been fighting recently. They're not killers or anything like that, but he's doing what he got to do.
Everything's relative to who you're fighting.
Correct. Okay. I know you got another big fight, right? You got Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. It's the big fight for the sport.
I like Shakur.
I like Shakur too. Why do you like Shakur over Teo?
Ring IQ, left-handed, brilliant counter puncher, knows distance and range, can fight on the inside and fight on the outside. He fights great hip to hip. When he lines up his hip with your hip and he rolls, too smart. Teo's had too many bad nights. Not just the loss to Gamboa, but he's had too many bad nights. And even though he won, if he had a bad night with this guy, you ain't winning. If he had a good night, he may not win.
So you don't see a path to victory for Teo?
Yeah, he can win, but I don't see it happening. He can win. It's not an outbet fight, but he can win. But I just like Shakur. I think I think Shakur is one of those guys we're going to be talking about in 10 years as an all-time great.
Yeah, I think if he puts it together, he's got the potential to do that. Rick, if the winner of this fight will be the guy in the division. That will open up potentially bigger fights against some of the other champions like Richardson Hitchens, Subra Matias. What do you think about, maybe you pick Shakur? What do you think about Shakur versus either Matias and or Hitchens?
Easy win, both of them.
Both of them?
Both of them. Easy.
Yeah. Wide points.
Just plays with both guys.
Even at 140, like you feel like he's gonna have enough to keep those guys honest. Well, like a guy, not so much hits, but like a guy like Matias who comes forward and throws a lot of punches.
Matias is not a puncher. He's inconsistent too. He can be outboxed easily. Harrell outboxed him in Puerto Rico, for Christ's sake. Enough said right there, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So like, I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I know you asked me a while ago what I thought about the Lamont Roach fight because I was there and I never got back to you on that. I scored the fight a draw when I watched it back. I think if you had to pick a guy, you'd probably lean towards Roach. If you got to give the guy the fight, but Roach wants to fight at 40. I was talking to Robert Diaz down at the WBA convention, and they want to do the big fights at 40. He said that Roach is going to be keeping an eye on this Shakur versus Teo fight. What do you think about Roach against either one of those guys, Teo or Shakur, stylistically? How do you see them fights?
I think Roach is a very underrated fighter. I thought he beat Cruz. I thought he beat Tank. I think he's a very underrated fighter. He's in great shape. He's a tenacious guy. He gives 1,000% of himself. I like his attitude. I think a lot of times attitude gets you over the top in close fights.
That has been the case for him this past year. He got 2 draws.
No, but he can't help with what the judges are doing. But I'm saying that he won those fights.
Okay.
You know,
which fight would you want to see him in more, Teo or Shakur, and why?
Well, Shakur, because he's the better fighter. It's a better fight, bigger fight. You know, Shakur's to me, he's the real deal.
I know you back in the day. You did some matchmaking for you did pretty much most of the matchmaking, maybe damn near all the matchmaking for Paul Spadafora. Does Shakur have any Paul Spadafora-esque qualities, or would you even say, you know what, he's better than Paul Spadafora?
He's better than Paul Spadafora.
Okay. Because I know, like with I think it was, I can't remember if it was Brad Goodman, but somebody from Top Rank said that with like Terence Crawford, he was like the only guy they didn't have to really worry about like matchmaking. Like they felt comfortable no matter who they put him in with. Do you feel like is Shakur one of those guys where you kind of just like, you know what, whichever
Correct.
guy is gonna.
Correct.
Okay. Shout out to middleweight contender Ian Green. He says 2 people in the boxing world who keep it real for this generation. Shout out to Ian Green.
What do you think?
He said 2 people in the boxing world who keep it real for this generation. This is the Ian Green, Don King's former fighter.
He's saying that I keep it real.
He's saying you keep it real. He's giving you credit.
Thank you very much. And you tell him he's with a good man in Napper.
And Napper, yeah, man. I like Napper. I hope Napper can get Ian Green busy this year.
Yeah, Napper's a quality guy, and Ian shows a good man in Napper.
Correct. And I think Ian's an underrated fighter. He's need the opportunity.
He is an underrated fighter, and I'm looking for an opportunity as we speak.
There we go. All right. My man, 1SSS says, why does Pro Box not do Wednesday night fights anymore?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a Daniel Rubin, Gary Jonas question. So I got to get Daniel Rubin and Gary Jonas on here. We can ask them that, but we don't know. I don't work with Pro Box, and neither does Rick. Rick, I know. So I'm sure you got a really intriguing perspective on this because you're very close to Golden Boy, and then I also know you're very close to people at Top Rank. You know, they had the whole Xander and Virgil Ortiz are going back and forth for a while. What was your whole take on that situation? Because I know in late 2024, Xander had
I'll leave it like this.
Go ahead.
I'm sure Golden Boy would do that fight in a heartbeat, and I'm sure Top Rank would. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. What do you make of Virgil Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis? I know you've been vocal about it, but I never asked you about it.
Virgil Ortiz wins.
Yeah. Why?
Stronger, physically stronger, better balance, more powerful body puncher, and can take a body punch better.
Okay. You've been like real spirited about Boots, like speaking against him. Like you said, like that he doesn't have any heart. That you question his durability. You question certain things about him.
I don't think he's got a big heart. I don't think when you think of great hearts or big hearts that you think of Boots Ennis. And I have my doubts about him when the going gets rough. Now he's a great front runner. Looks great when he's front running, but when he's getting it taken back to him, we'll see. We'll see what Boots is all about. And
Right.
remember, he had two brothers that fought. They were pros, and they didn't have good chins. Neither of them had good chins.
So you feel it's like a hereditary thing, like it gets passed down generation to generation.
We'll see. Father trained all three of them. They're very aggressive fighters. They come forward. It's easier to hurt a guy coming forward. We'll see.
Okay.
That's why the fight's very intriguing to me. I listen to people and they tell me, oh, fans, oh, Boots is going to kill him and Boots is going to do this to him and Boots is going to do that to him. I don't see that.
You don't think his because you don't think his switch hitting gives Virgil any problems, or you think Virgil's
I didn't
power
say anything about his sex life. You did.
Huh?
I didn't say anything about his sex life. You did.
Okay. What do you think Virgil Ortiz's ceiling is, Rick? Since you're picking him, like, how far do you think he'll go in the sport of boxing? Because he still hasn't won a world title yet, but he has.
I think he'll be a junior middleweight champ, and I think he'll be a middleweight champ.
So 2-division champ,
probably
pound for pound guy.
I think so. Going forward, he will be. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. My man El Jefe says, "Why did you lie that Turkey doesn't like Eddie Hearn? Did you say that?"
I never lied. Never lied. They were in dispute at the time, and Eddie Turkey wasn't talking to Eddie. I did not lie. Eddie claimed he lied because he got back with Turkey, because the guy that was originally in between is the one that straightened it out. I'll leave it like that. I didn't lie. Okay, Eddie's the one that lied when he said there was no problem when there was a problem. But by the time Eddie came around, they were already made up. Eddie acted like he didn't know about when I first said it. He knew well in hand that they were in trouble.
Okay, fair enough. Rick, what do you think about the whole like Zuffa boxing situation? Dana White's involved in boxing. They're trying to amend they're amending the Ali Act, the revising or whatever. How do you feel about that?
I don't see why they have to amend the Ali Act. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's something that needs to be done. And I think they need to concentrate on boxing and stop with all the outside stuff and concentrate on building a boxing program instead of trying to beat the law. My opinion.
Do you know who their boxing people are? Like, do they have good boxing people?
Tom Loeffler and Charles Bosecker.
Yeah, okay. I know Tom is there, but okay. That is that it?
There's a guy named Ryan Scalia. You know Ryan.
I know. I met Ryan years ago before he was even doing matchmaking.
Right. Yeah. He's there too. He's a boxing guy. He's a talented guy. He's more talented than Bosecker.
Okay, yeah, because Ryan's a young guy. Ryan's probably like my age or younger.
About 30, 31.
Yeah, I'm 30, so
good future. Ryan's a good guy.
Yeah, I like Ryan. Shout out to Ryan Scalia. Let me see. Rick, who are some prospects people should be looking out for this year in the fight game? I know you come across a lot of fighters. Who are some guys?
Nobody in particular.
No one?
I don't. Nobody rocks my world. None. I mean, the guys that were prospects are now contenders. Moses Atuma, Abdullah Mason's the world champ now. Yes, Virgil Ortiz was. Now he's an interim champ. So there's nobody in particular of prospect status presently that really gets me excited.
Okay. I'm sure someone will come up at some point. My man right here wants to know from Rick Pedro. He says, what's the fight that you feel would bring the general public back to boxing? Because boxing's become a niche sport in America. What do you feel would increase?
Well, it's not what fight. It's the platform would be on. If a fight was on ESPN and ABC and ESPN Plus at the same time and all that kind of stuff, some kind of big fight, it would draw 100 million people, like a Super Bowl. But they don't give it the opportunity.
Yeah. Do you feel like boxing's burned its bridges with all the networks in America?
It looks like it has, shouldn't it? Basically, right?
Top Rank can't find a deal. I mean,
neither can PBC.
Yeah.
There's no deal with Amazon. It's shared revenues. Whatever they bring in, there's no guarantees.
You've been talking about the demise of PBC for years, and they didn't have a lot of dates last year, but like
they've had 5 dates each year the last 2 years.
It was 5. I know it was 5 last year.
And the year before.
How do you feel about them going into 2026?
Well, are they going to do anything differently than do maybe 6 shows? Is that an improvement? Listen, I've said for years they were going out of business. When you used to do 36 to 43 shows a year, and you're doing 5 shows a year, are you out of business technically? No, you're in business, but you're fucking barely in business. You're okay? Am I wrong?
I mean, they still put on the odd good event, but yeah, they need a more consistent schedule. I like PBC, but they need a more consistent schedule.
Well, they are what they are.
Yeah, what they are.
They are where they belong.
They're still the only standalone American promoter right now.
Standalone?
Like they're the only ones that really haven't completely sold out to like Turki Alalshikh and Saudi Arabia.
What Gary Jonas doesn't count?
Gary counts. I mean, Pro Box is good, but like, they're not yet in the big 4 promoters.
Right, but they're going up. The other ones are going down. The other ones are going down.
No, I agree. I'm just saying they're not there yet. They're getting there, but they're not quite there yet.
Okay.
All right. We got a good fight with in the lightweight division. You got Andy Cruz and Raymond Murataya. You got any thoughts on that one?
It's Andy Cruz will either outbox him or the other guy will out hustle him, and he could stop him. We don't know. It's a great fight. I don't know the result.
You're not picking any guys. Is it a pick 'em fight to you?
It's not a pick 'em fight. I would give the edge to Andy Cruz, but I would think that the other guy's capable of winning.
Okay.
Especially in a close fight.
Okay, yeah, because I see it like I think I'm favoring Andy Cruz just because of the pedigree, and I think Raymond struggles with movers a little bit. He struggled in that Tevin Farmer fight. I know Farmer's a southpaw, but he struggles with movers a bit. He's had more success against the guys that sit there and trade with him, like the Diego Torreses of the world. I think Andy on points, but if Raymond lets his hands go, that could be a deciding factor. So it's a good fight.
I agree.
Yeah. I know one. I could be wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong, Rick. I know a guy that you're high on is Moses Itama, right? Yep. What do you think about like him versus the Usyks of the world? I know he was supposed to fight in an eliminator. He turned it down with Frank Martin.
I think he's 3 fights away from beating those guys.
How many fights?
He's capable. 3 fights.
3.
He needs 3 fights this year, and then he'll be able to beat those guys.
Well, you're a pretty good matchmaker. Like, if you're the matchmaker for Moses, like, what are those 3 fights to get him to that spot? What do you feel?
I think Jermaine Franklin's a perfect opponent. Got a great chin, never been stopped. He's not a puncher. That's a good fight for him. That's coming up here in January. or maybe early February, somewhere coming up here. I'd have to stop and think about it. I would
Maybe
have
like,
said,
what about like, let's say Martin Bakoli or Philip Hergovich?
yeah, he beat both those guys easy,
Okay.
easy.
And then what? Maybe after that, Caballel could beat those guys.
Javier, he's very good. I'm high on him. I'm not as high on him as Moses because he's older, but he's a very good fighter. He's not as fast. He's got a high ring IQ, but he's not as fast as Moses. And Moses is left-handed. Caviel's he's a top 3-4 heavyweight.
How do you view like him versus? I don't know if it'll ever happen, but him versus Usyk.
Gabriel and Usyk goes the distance.
Yeah, Usyk.
I think Usyk would win, but it goes the distance. Yep.
Yeah, because I love to see that fight. I think Caballel is one of the best body punchers in all boxing right now.
1,000%. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm gonna get a good answer when I ask you this question, Rick. What do you think about Alexander Usyk recently saying that he wants to fight Deontay Wilder?
I mean, he's trying to pack his bank account as much as he can, talking about Wilder and talking about Usyk. They're both trying to pack their bank account. It's a mismatch.
Yeah. So you give Wilder no chance?
None.
None at all. Is he? I know he's on the back nine, but is he fully in the clubhouse? Because I know
he's not in the clubhouse because he's fighting. So he's not in the clubhouse. He should be in the clubhouse, is what you're trying to say. Yes, he should be in the clubhouse, but he's not.
Okay. And for those that don't know, Rick has his ratings for when guys, when at the end of their career, there's the back nine.
You want me to explain it to him?
Explain it to him.
So to relating the golf on the back nine. On the back nine means you're in the back part of your career. It means you got a little slippage, but you're not shot. Correct. When you say that you should be in the clubhouse, it means you're shot. And you're really shot when you should be in the clubhouse and you should be staying there permanently. That's gonzo. Yeah, Wilder's gonzo.
Do you have like a top? Who are the most in the clubhouse guys in boxing that are still fighting?
Anthony Joshua, Wilder. Trying to think of the other weight classes.
How about Jose Pedraza?
No, because he's still competitive. In other words, he's not completely. He should be retired, but he's not completely shot. He's not what he was, but he's not completely. He's not embarrassing. Let's put it that way to you.
Okay. My man Huffy Rick, he asks, what do you think about Floyd going broke?
Well, I've been asked a lot this week about that question. I'm going to give you my answer.
Go ahead.
I who wrote the article writes for Business Insider, which is a respectable media source. His name is Daniel Geiger. He's a top investigative journalist for Business Insider. And he wrote all those things that he wrote. Those things are true, or you wouldn't have wrote them. That's all there is to it. That's my answer.
What did you say? What did you say about him?
What did he say about him?
What did he say about them?
He's listed all these lawsuits against him, liens against him, where he owes people money they haven't sued yet, all kinds of stuff. Pretty ugly.
Yeah.
And Floyd saying he owns these properties that he doesn't even own them, all kinds of stuff.
Okay. It's sad. It's sad what's happened to Floyd. I'm a big fan of Floyd. I hate to see any fighter go broke when they won when they did so much for the sport in terms of like accomplishments.
Well, you can't live like he's been retired for 10 years. He's got a couple exhibitions, and you can't live like he does and gamble and throw money around foolishly and expect not to go broke. Just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
You have to, just to let you know something. If you're sitting on $200 million in cash, you'd make about 64. $200 million in cash. You'd make about $64 million a year on your money. And by the time you pay your taxes, you're down to about $30 million. That's $2.5 million a month. Boys won't do like that, like butter.
Yeah, he's living a real lavish lifestyle, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Rick, you got any interesting stories from 2025? I know you're someone who loves telling these stories. You got any interesting stories from 2025?
Really nothing that really goes completely wacky, you know. Besides me smacking Louis Ortiz Jr. in the face after the Edgar Berlanga fight was over July 12th in Queens there.
Why'd you smack him? Why'd you do that?
Because he stiffed me out a lot of money dating back many years. I brought a Mario Barrios in like 2014 or 15, and I was supposed to be in once he got up to significant fights, and he stopped taking my phone calls after the guy was 8-0. He had cancer at the time. I brought him to Louis, and Louis says, "Oh, no problem. He says, let me send you something for now for your efforts, and you're in." We defined what I was supposed to get each fight and what those significant fights would look like and all that. Completely stiffed me. So I hadn't seen him in all these years, and I saw him. And he smiled right in my face. I said, "You're paying me, you bastard!" And he goes, "I'm not paying you." And I went, palmed him right in the face. Then his father came at me from the side, and I palmed him right in the chest. He's my age. I didn't want to kill the guy.
Yeah, I hear you. So a lot of these promoters, they've like Lou DiBella stiffed you out of money a long time ago.
November 2010. Yep.
You got the Kubas, Junior. How are they the only ones that have stiffed you out of money in boxing?
No, one other one. Art Plulo until the year 2000 stiffed me out of 2,500.
Banner Promotions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Cameron Duncan, right?
Cameron Duncan, he didn't stiff me out of any money.
Oh, you just don't like him.
I just didn't like him.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, because I know that was
dead. He's been dead 2 years today. I think. Yeah, it's January 3rd. I think it's 2 years today.
2 years today. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy right here, Paul, he says, "Can you ask Rick what was the issue he had with Tim Coleman, ex-prize fighter, in the parking lot a few years ago?"
I put Tim on a reality show. It wasn't a few years ago. It was 2014, actually. That's how long ago it was.
12 years ago.
12 years ago. 12 years ago this month, actually. What happened? What happened was that he was a junkie, reputedly to be a junkie. I did not know him when I signed him up for the reality show. He was in a crack house for a while and was supposed to be on the show. We couldn't find him. And I had this woman hit me up on Twitter and says, "How can I get a hold of Twitter, Facebook? How can I get a hold of Tim Coleman? I'm a friend of his, blah, blah, blah." And I said, he hasn't been on the show and we haven't seen him in days, blah, blah, blah. Well, he got mad at me for communicating because that was his common law wife, I guess. And I didn't know it. She was some Russian woman. I had no idea. And he got mad at me. And he came at me physically. Said he had a gun. He had a gun. And he didn't end up having a gun on him. But he ended up coming at me physically. And you can ask Stacy. Stacy was there.
Stacy McKinley, okay.
I challenged him, literally. I said, "Come on." I mean, I was 55 years old at the time, 56 years old. I said, "Come at me." So I scrapped with him for, I was wrestling with him and stuff like that, holding him off. I did a good job. And then Stacy and A bunch of other guys jumped in and stuff like that.
Where was this?
In Vegas at a boxing gym in the park. It started in the parking lot, but then escalated inside the gym.
Do you remember which gym it was at?
No.
It's okay. All right. There you go. There's your answer. This guy must have got here late because he's asking me, have you seen Oscar Collazo fight? And you love Oscar Collazo.
I saw him when he won the world title, sitting at ringside. I think he's great. I think he's definitely a top 10 pound for pound guy. He's comparable to Bam. He's a 105-pound version of Bam. What they're both left-handed. They both can punch with both hands. What's the difference between him and Bam?
Just lighter. He's lighter. He's lighter. And he hasn't. I mean, he's won some good fights, but he hasn't won a title in multiple weight classes yet, like Bam.
Well, Bam won 112 and moved up to 115. This guy just started. Remember that.
Yeah.
This guy had a lengthy amateur career. He was an Olympian and all that, so he had a later start. But he's a really good fighter. I mean, he already beat the BO champ, who then became the BC champ. That other guy, Marvin Jerusalem. He beat that Thai guy who was undefeated and was the champ for 10 years. And can't he's knocking these guys dead.
I'm just waiting for him. I want to see him fight the IBF champion, Pedro Tajaron, the Filipino, the other Filipino champion. Like, really solidify that you're the guy in the division, even though you got the ring. Like, further solidify it. Because they asked that question, Rick, because I love Oscar Collazo. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I don't think he's quite a top 10 pound for pound guy yet. Because I made a video and I said, like, he's on his way, but I don't think he's there quite yet. I think there's guys that
I look at guys and I put guys in that if he weighed 126, would he beat this guy? If he weighed 122, would he beat that guy? And if he weighed 140, would he beat that guy? And he's that. This guy is that guy. This guy is a fucking beast. Listen, I was the one when he went over to when Terence Crawford went over to England and beat Ricky Burns. I said to myself, not only is this guy is a great fighter, but he's got balls down to his ankles. And he just did. He turned out to be that great fighter I thought he was going to be.
I would like to see him go to 108 and at some point.
I want to see him fight Rene Santiago.
Yeah, Rene Santiago is a good fight, but I know Rick that I know that you're very good friends with Clovis Sabala.
Yeah.
All-Star Boxing.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk to Clovis Sabala, tell him to let Yugo Osaki fight for a world title in 2026, and then Oscar will have a guy he can go fight at 108 that will have something for him.
Okay.
When you get a chance, talk to him and tell him that. But I think I asked you everything I needed to ask you, Rick. What else is there in boxing to talk about?
Well,
here's the question, Rick. Look, what do you think about Prime Rigondeaux versus Inoue at 118?
I think that Inoue has too much firepower with both hands, and it's quicker. And it's quicker than what's name. But I think Rigondeaux had a much higher ring IQ.
Okay. What do you think of? How do you think Inoue would have did against someone like, let's say, a Mark Too Sharp Johnson, guy who could counter punch, slick, power?
God, that would have been like, as soon as that fight was signed, I would have been I've been waiting by the TV set.
Yeah,
or waiting to go to Vegas or wherever it was. It's great. That would have been a great fight, no question about it.
No, I think that's like one of the guys in history. When I think about the guys that could have beaten Inoue in the lower weight categories, that's one of the guys I think would have really had something for him. And anybody, because Mark Too Sharp was, I think, at one point in time the number 3 pound for pound fighter in the world. It's an excellent fight.
I agree.
we kind of touched on this earlier, but the Nobody 92 says, what are Rick's thoughts on the rumors that Golden Boy might lose their DAZN deal by the end of the year?
You know, Golden Boy is a type of company that if they lost that deal, they would come up with another quality deal. Oscar De La Hoya is still Oscar De La Hoya, and they're based in LA. And I know a TV company would be more interested in somebody that is LA based than they would be based somewhere in the Midwest or somewhere else around the country. And also they have corporate offices in New York City too. But I think that they would be able to come up with a good TV deal or streaming deal if not if the deal was to go haywire. But they've got the fighters. They put on good shows. I mean, the shows are cost effective. I don't see why they would lose the deal.
You don't think that with all these networks be kind of like they don't want boxing anymore, so you think the case is different for Golden Boy than a top?
I think Oscar could come up with some sponsorship deals because he's based in LA and stuff like that. And I think because of his reputation as far as being the Golden Boy and all that kind of stuff, I think that they would piece together a deal. I think they would come up with a deal between the TV network coming up with dollars, maybe a streaming service, but somewhere something like that. I think they would be able to.
Okay. If they can't get that on the DAZN, I look forward to seeing what route they go, because I think the DAZN is it's becoming the home for boxing, but I think it'd be nice to have a bigger platform for the sport apart from DAZN.
Yep.
We touched on this earlier too. They want to know, same guy, what are your thoughts on TKO and Zuffa boxing?
We'll see. So far, so good, but I don't like the idea they're trying to basically circumvent the Ali Act, change it. That's how Dana White does business. What can I say? I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I know he's an MMA guy, but you never crossed paths with Dana White in any of your business dealings, have you?
Met him one time. Just met him one time years ago.
And how was that?
At the Palms, maybe 10 years ago.
Okay, but I'm saying, how was that when you met him? Like, what was the?
No big deal.
Just
yeah, shook hands. He knew who I was. Hey, how you doing, Rick? That kind of stuff. No big deal.
Okay.
Now, how about nondescript? That's the best way to put it.
It was just an experience. It's regular experience.
Just daily life.
Got you. One SSS says Oscar has no stars. He is going to lose Ryan Garcia.
Virgil Ortiz has the makings to be a real star, and he's got enough others. He's got Floyd Schofield. It's been a good draw on his own. He'll do just fine.
You mentioned Floyd Schofield, Rick. Him and his dad have been vocal on Twitter, on my channel, on everybody's channel, really, about this Abdullah Mason matchup. They like their chances in an Abdullah Mason fight. I know you're high on Abdullah Mason. Stylistically, how do you see that fight?
I think because Mason's left-handed, and because the father won't cede control and the help to somebody else in the corner, I think that I would give the edge to Mason. But I could see Schofield landing a good one on the chops and Mason bouncing up off the canvas and everything, and just like Farmer, no different.
Okay. So you think his athleticism gives him some problems?
I think their athleticism gives each other problems. I think that Floyd's got serious power. I think Floyd's getting better. I would have liked to see the father bring in somebody and the father sort of cede control in the corner a little bit, but father's the father.
Yeah. Sometimes they get really stubborn. The Nobody 92 also wants to know from you, Rick, what are your thoughts on Dave Benavidez, and do you feel that he has a chance to become the face of boxing?
No. Because if he had a chance to get on the face of boxing, he would have become that already. So no, the answer is no. He's been around a long time. Remember, the 68-pound champ twice, and he got stripped twice. Once for drugs, once for overweight. Then he was the 75-pound champ. Now he's moving up to cruiserweight. He would have been that. He's been around a long time now. He would have been the face of boxing 4 or 5 years ago if he was going to be the face of boxing.
Yeah, I think not getting that Canelo fight really that hurt him too. I think he would have had a chance.
It hurt him, but he wasn't getting the fight. He made an ass out of himself. He didn't make an ass out of Canelo because Canelo didn't lose a fan. He made an ass out of himself.
I don't know about that. Canelo did lose some fans.
Now, not enough that we're talking about. He lost fans because of losses, not because of not fighting Benavidez.
I don't know if I agree with that, Rick. There's fans there's Mexican fans that really aren't behind Canelo as much as you think. And
okay, maybe I'm wrong. But all I know is he didn't fight Benavidez. He fought Crawford, and there was 71,000 people there.
I get it.
And it did unbelievable numbers on Netflix. So, and millions of dollars in sponsors, and tough to say. I didn't see any letdown. Now, there may be a letdown now that he lost to Crawford. I don't know about that. We'll see. But right now, as far as the last fight, because he fought Crawford and not Benavidez, there was no letdown.
All right. What are your thoughts on the recent alphabet propaganda from Crawford and other fighters?
I agree with Terence Crawford. I'll tell you why. Because the WBC was the outlier. They were the ones that wouldn't take less. Everybody else took a fee agreed upon, and Crawford offered the BC that same fee that the BA, the WBO, and IBF had already accepted, and he didn't accept it. So I think that Crawford was correct.
Aren't those things agreed upon before you fight?
I don't know how that went down, but yes, generally speaking, it is. I think what happened was Mauricio knew about it and didn't address the situation. He wanted just the fight to go through because he thought Canelo was going to win. So he thought it would be like almost a non-issue, not thinking that Crawford was going to win.
So he didn't take into account every situation that could have happened.
He didn't listen to me that I was the first one on the bandwagon to say that Crawford was going to beat Canelo and easier than everybody thought. Nobody believed me.
Technically, wouldn't you be the second on the bandwagon because Bill Haney gave Crawford the idea to fight Canelo?
No, because was he the first one? Well, 2 people in the Crawford camp came to me and asked me what I thought, and I said Crawford wins. So I was the first one publicly to say it.
Okay, I got you. They said if Benavidez was with Oscar, you would be glazing him.
No, I wouldn't. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. No, did you hear me? Did you hear me glaze Ryan Garcia earlier tonight?
No, you said you don't trust him for anything.
What else did I say? How can you bet on a guy like that?
Yeah,
he's unprofessional. He's an idiot. Right?
Yeah, you said he's a
and
fucking
he's with
idiot.
Oscar, isn't he?
You said he's a fucking idiot. Those are your words.
Right, and he's with Oscar. I'm not afraid to speak my mind and tell. I always tell the truth.
Okay, let me see. I've asked you everything I wanted to ask you, Rick. Y'all got any questions, Rick? I don't know how long you want to stay on, Rick, but
you got 17 more minutes of my time, an hour and a half.
All right. Have you spoken to Don King recently? And if so, how is he doing?
I wish him a Merry Christmas. So yes, I do.
Is he still going to be involved in boxing at all?
I don't know. I didn't ask him. I stay away from questions like that. When a guy's 94 years old and he's a legend, I stay away from questions like that.
I understand.
It's like insulting him. Don, are you going to still stay in boxing? What the fuck are you supposed to say?
Okay, I just figured it might have came up. Do you think that Dana White's promotion will be the next major promotion if Top Rank is still in limbo?
I think it has the ability to be long-term, 10 years from now, but it's going to take a build-up for at least 5 years.
Okay. What do you feel Zuffa Boxing and Dana White could do better than, I guess, the other promoters in boxing?
We'll see. He's a good pitch man. He gets the word out there, and people like to have him on their show, talk shows, and stuff like that. So he can get on. He can get on. He can get on CBS with all those networks because CBS especially because Paramount's in is CBS. So he could sell the product.
Okay. Which of the top 5 countries in boxing right now, Rick, and why?
Or the top 5.
Top 5.
I would say the UK, Japan,
USA.
the UK, Japan. USA is probably 3rd.
Okay. Mexico.
Mexico. There's no major fights in Mexico is the problem. A lot of fights, but nothing major. So 4. And that's 4 is Mexico. I would say 5 would be Ireland.
Ireland? Why Ireland?
Yeah, because every time that somebody fights there, they draw huge crowds.
You're talking about in terms of numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So you're
thinking they support their own. They support their own.
Yeah, I know Patty Donovan and Crocker did great business out there.
Right. And Michael Collin did big business when he was fighting. So yeah, I would think that those would be the top 5.
Okay. What's the next fight you're planning on going to, Rick? Any plans to go to any fights soon?
Not as of today. I'm going to discuss that this week with my wife. I like to take my wife to fights.
Yeah. Now you Sonia, your lovely wife Sonia. She's just as famous as you because you talk about her so much. How would you? Because she doesn't do interviews or anything like that. It's how would you say her boxing knowledge is being around you all these years?
Brad Goodman had a great line. Sadia's boxing knowledge is 50% better than. Sorry, it's better than 50% of the managers he deals with every day. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, because I saw I was on your Facebook earlier doing my due diligence for this live or whatever, and I can't remember the fighter's name, but there was a fighter that I guess you're working with, and he was like, "I'm looking forward to working with you, Sonia."
Oh yeah. Godfrey Nygaard. He's from Buffalo. He's 9-3. He's ready for 8 rounders now. He's got a full-time job. He's got actually a white-collar job at City Hall in Buffalo, and my wife's advising him now.
She's advising him.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Is that like her first fighter?
That's her first fighter. Yep. And we're going to take good care of him because it is her first fighter.
That's insane. See, it's you guys doing it together.
Yeah, I'm letting her be the lead of the advising fighters, and I work more with the promoters, and she's going to work with the fighters, and she enjoys it, and she's been around me. We've been together since end of March of 2012. We've been married now for 12 years this past November here, and we have a fabulous marriage. I love my wife. I'd do it all over again tomorrow. I mean, she's just great. I mean, the thing that pissed me off was how I look back about it. What took me a year and a half to say yes.
Yeah. Men are just scared of commitment, I guess.
Yeah. And that was partly because partly because I had so many friends get married and divorced, some of them multiple times. But I also realized that some of them didn't understand marriage, and you have to understand marriage.
I'm not even sure. I mean, I know for a fact I don't understand marriage. So what is marriage?
Marriage is agreeing on most everything. It's give and take. It's agreeing on things together. Like, honey, where do you want to go to dinner tonight? He wants to go to such and such. Okay. And then in a couple more nights, you're going to go out again for dinner, or the following night, and you say, well, where are we going to, well, tonight's your turn to choose, honey, she'll say to me. And I say, okay, I'll just place you. Okay. That's, it's give and take. It's, whether they're wars, whether they're little battles, whether they're mountains or molehills. It doesn't matter. You got to just work it out and get along. I mean, it's too many people are selfish. Too many people are stubborn. And if you're selfish or stubborn in marriage, you ain't gonna make it. Okay, and you have to have a woman that's as smart as you are to understand you.
That's
And
very hard. That's very
and
hard.
my wife is very smart.
Well, you lucked out because
Yeah, I lucked out. She's not.
in my
She's pretty.
generation, a lot of the women aren't that smart, unfortunately.
Well, my wife's pretty. She's smart. She's very classy. There's nothing negative about my wife. My wife is like I said, she's great. So it is what it is. Everybody says I outkicked my coverage by 4 football fields and all this kind of stuff, and I did. But we get along. So
That's how it should be.
yeah, she respects my mind.
100%. We touched on this earlier, but we got the super chat, so I'll acknowledge it. What are your thoughts on Teo versus Shakur?
Shakur.
We're both going with Shakur. I think it's a good fight, but I want to say it's damn. I think it's a straightforward fight. I think I'm not picking against Shakur. Teo's too inconsistent. Rick agrees. Rick, do you think Saudi will keep investing in boxing without the return on investment for much longer?
I don't know. I think they'll stay in it, but I don't know to what extent. If they cut back, I don't know. But I think they're going to stay in it for now. I think things are coming around, and I think it's heading in that direction. The prices have settled down now, and we'll see what happens. I hope Turki Alalshikh stays in business. I think he's a great asset to boxing. I think boxing's been good for him. It put him on the map and worldwide, and I think it's good for both parties, boxing and Turki Alalshikh and Saudi Arabia and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
I think eventually they're going to pull their investment because they have the whole Agenda 2030 thing going on. I don't know when, but I think at some point American boxing is going to have to recorrect itself.
We'll see.
We'll see. Hiram wants to know from you, Rick, why are you not active on Twitter anymore?
I got hacked into, and I'm trying to get Twitter to unhack me, and so far they've been belligerent about it, and we're going to be straightening that all that. I've talked to a U.S. congressman, and we are working on it collectively.
Okay, yeah, because the Twitter feed hasn't. We need your tweets again, Rick. I mean, I got you on Facebook, so I get your stuff there, and I'm on Twitter. It gets real fun on there when you start talking your shit.
Well, it's not shit. It's my outgoing personality and my knowledge, and it's I tell the truth. I'm very straightforward. Eddie Hearn keeps saying I like that one guy said I lied about. I didn't lie about shit. I don't lie about anything.
I mean, I like Eddie, but he don't tell the truth all the time either.
Eddie never tells the truth. I call him out on it all the time. As I call it, Eddie's Babaluba. Eddie Babaluba is a street word for bullshit. And Eddie's got a lot of bullshit.
Right? You have met Eddie Hearn in real life, right?
What?
Have you met Eddie Hearn in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My man right here says he says Oscar Collazo is Oscar. I don't know. I think he's trying to say Oscar Collazo is not a superstar. I don't know what he's trying to say.
He's a great fighter.
He's a fantastic fighter. They want to know from you, Rick. Joel, he wants to know Dalton Smith or Super Matias. Who you got?
I think Dalton Smith.
Really?
If Liam Perro could beat him, Dalton Smith should be able to beat him.
So it's just okay. I'll let it ride. How do you think Japanese boxing will be after Inoue and all the money Inoue brings in? I hope they use the profits to invest in advertising in their young.
They don't need. They were drawing big crowds before Inoue. It just got more famous because of Inoue worldwide. The fights over there have always been big. They do a ton of fights over there. It's so underrated.
It is. It is. Japan, the boxing market in Japan, they're so self-sufficient and they're so very well ran. I remember, Rick, before Inoue was even big, like when I first started really following Japanese boxing, when they had the former WBC champion Shinsuke Yamanaka, his fights were doing good numbers back then and good crowds. So
Yeah, I mean, Wintercall brought it to a big level worldwide, but in Japan, they were drawing 18,000 people before Inoue.
correct. And and they always have talent in the lighter weight categories. They always have a presence, at 105, 108, 112, 115, all the weight class.
Agreed.
Loki wants to know from you, Rick. Does Inoue beat any of these fighters, Pac-Man, Barrera, or Morales, at 122 pounds?
He beats Morales because Morales gets hit too much. He doesn't beat Pac-Man at 122, and I think he beats Barrera, but it's a fight.
Why do you think? Why do you think he beats Manny? Or why do you think Manny Pacquiao beats him?
Left-handed and was and Manny was very fast, and it had real quick twitch muscle movement and stuff real fast. And I think he was good enough to beat him.
Okay, too much output as well.
Yeah,
too many. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know from Rick: is Tim Tszyu finished? Is he Gonzo?
He's Gatsky, but he's going to continue on.
Yeah.
He's not going to be what he was at one time. No, he took too much punishment. People misused him. They thought he was better than he was.
Yeah, they thought he was. I remember he had that shirt at the Thurman press conference, or one of the fights. It said it had like all the names of all the guys he wanted to fight, like Crawford, Canelo, all those guys.
You know what Crawford would have done to him, no matter what weight it was at.
Or even like Virgil. I mean, Virgil and him had that. They had the fight signed at one point.
Virgil would have ate his lunch. Crawford would have destroyed him. He can't compete with those guys.
Yeah, hopefully he can get the best of what's remaining in his career. I like Tim Tszyu.
Yes, good for boxing.
Have you worked at all with Samson Lukowitz?
Not really, but I know Samson. I like him. He's likable.
Yeah, I met Samson a number of times. Great guy.
Yeah.
Yep. You see, well, what do you think, Rick, is next for Gervonta Davis?
You mean boxing or getting arrested again?
Boxing wise,
I don't know. He wasn't going to fight after he was supposed to fight
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. He wasn't going to fight again. He was going to take that money and run. And now I think this set his retirement plans back. I think he'll take an easy fight, maybe whether it's Pacquiao or somebody, and walk away with the money and be done. He doesn't want to fight. He just doesn't want to fight.
Yeah, I agree. I know he sparred. I mean, I'm not gonna say no names, but I know he sparred someone down in South Florida, and yeah, he was very unmotivated from the sparring session, from what I heard.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to do all the commitments it takes to train, to make weight. He's an unruly guy. He doesn't all the public commitments and media commitments. He just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, you remember he showed up. He showed up he always shows up late, but he showed up extra late for his media workout before the first Roach fight, like by almost 2 hours at Gleason's gym.
You don't give a fuck.
He don't care. They want to know from you, Rick, who is on the bad guy list for 2026?
It's a little early yet.
Yeah, only 3 days. Not even 3 days yet. Well, not actually, 3 days, and it's 12/29.
Yeah, it's basically always the same guys. There's some guys that can rotate in and out. Sometimes they're on, sometimes they're... Death does separate some from the list, like Cameron Duncan.
Yeah, but RIP to him. But let me see. We'll get one more in. Is there any hope for Kamel Moen as a prospect, Rick?
If he stays with Floyd, there's none.
Not at all.
No. It just was what? How many pounds overweight for his last weigh-in? Couldn't even fight.
I was like 4 or 5.
There you go.
Something like that. So we'll see how it pans out. What do you think of the champions at 140, Rick?
They're all good.
That's why they're champions.
Huh?
I'm saying that's why they're champions.
Yeah, they're all good. Hitchens is good. They're all good. They're all respectable guys.
Yeah. Well, Rick, we hit the 90-minute mark, so it's
been lovely.
It's been absolutely exceptional, Rick. It was great having you on again. You got any final message you want to give to the people?
I'm going to look forward to hopefully getting my Twitter account back working again. I'm on Facebook. If anybody wants to find me on Facebook, you're more than welcome. And I hope to get my Twitter account up and running in the next couple of weeks.
There you go. So, Rick Glaser, thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right, guys. So that was him. That was Rick Glaser. It's been like 14 months. I think October of 2024 was the last time Rick was on Tru School Sports. So this year, definitely gonna be doing more stuff like this because you just get away from things sometimes. But look, I'm sure Rick's gonna call me here in about a minute or two. I'll wait for him to call and I'll pick up the phone when he does. But if he doesn't, listen, I'm gonna stay here for I'm gonna stay here to the 2-hour mark. I'm still gonna give you guys an honest 2 hours. Like I always try to give you guys an honest 2 hours. I don't cheat you guys with the live. I always try to make them 2 hours long or more. So for the next, I don't know, 29 minutes, y'all can just ask me whatever you want. I know we had a card in Puerto Rico today with a lot of like Amanda Serrano and the other girl. I forgot her name. The other Puerto Rican girl she was fighting. Jonathan Gonzalez beat Yankia Rivera in a fight for interim belt. So good for Jonathan Gonzalez. And yeah, man, this is the first live of 2026, guys. And there's gonna be a lot of great lives here on Tru School Sports moving forward. Just so you guys know, real quickly. What is it? The 4th. So in roughly about 2 days from now, I will be in New York City. I will be in New York City for Subriel Matias Dalton Smith Fight Week. So expect a lot of coverage here on Tru School Sports from that. It'll be the first major fight really of the year, or if you want to count the Puerto Rico card today, you can count that as a major fight. But as far as world title fights, that's the first major fight in my mind. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see Matias fight in person. I'm excited to really hit the ground running and give you guys world-class boxing content. I really want to take things up a notch this year. Like I really do. Every year I try to get a little bit better at something. So I've thought about it and I'm going to get better at it. Luke Low-Key says, El Chispa Medina Silent Matchroom. Will he fight Bam Rodriguez next? You know, I think you don't sign Christian Medina if you don't have intentions of fighting Bam. We know Bam has talked about going up to bantamweight. It's kind of up in limbo right now because, you know, Wabalda Garcia was supposed to fight Kenshiro Taraji. Wabalda Garcia he did. Like he pulled out of the fight. They hospitalized him. The next day he was at the hotel eating and having a great time. And Kenshiro got really pissed off about that. And there was a big article on that on Yahoo Japan that I'll be talking about in a video later on. So Kenshiro is really owed a shot. He's really owed a shot. And if not him, then Maloney is owed. Someone at 115 is owed a shot at Wabalda Garcia. That will probably hold up Bam Rodriguez. Robert Garcia has already been very adamant saying, you know what? We're not gonna wait for Undisputed. We're gonna go do our thing. So if Matchroom is signing Christian Medina, it's another option. It's another piece on the chessboard of what's going on at bantamweight. Christian Medina, Antonio Vargas. These are the kind of fights I feel like he's going to be involved in his next fight. And you know, I'll say this: I've given Bam Rodriguez a lot of some flack just because I feel like not him per se, but like the matchmakers, and they're matching him with really old guys. And I'm tired of seeing Bam fight these older fighters. I like the Medina fight. Medina's a young, strong champion. You know, coming off of a big win against Yoshiki Takei. That's what I'm talking about. Like that's more of what I'm talking about. Puma win was very good. Kofa win was very good. He had a good 2025. I feel like a Christian Medina fight pushes 2026 on a different level. So shout out to him. JWC says, BT, you don't watch Pro Box Evil with Angela Leo in their stable? Bro, Okay, I don't want to curse. I'm trying not to like crash on them. What the fuck are you talking about? I was like hold on. You just try my whole set. Like I'm over here trying to be professional and not curse. Hold on, man. Because I don't like when people try my set like that. When they they act like they know what they're talking about. Look, I'm gonna show you my wall. I'm gonna show you my wall, and I'm even gonna carry the microphone. Be a little unprofessional here. Look, hold on. Move this wire out the way. So look on the wall. You're saying I don't watch Pro Box, right? Look, that's a credential from the very first ever Pro Box card. That's what you got: Pistol Pete Dobson, Jose Miguel Borrego, Kanat Islam, Mark Reyes Jr. That's a credential from the first ever Pro Box card. Look, that's another credential from the last Pro Box card in Florida with Ramon Cardenas. What you mean we don't watch Pro Box? I was like one of the first Pro Box subscribers. I was watching Pro Box when you actually had to pay for Pro Box. I was watching Pro Box when you actually had to pay for Pro Box, because back in, what was it, 2022, before Pro Box was on YouTube like that, you had to actually pay for Pro Box to watch it on the website. I used to pay, what was it, the $5, $10 a month or whatever it was, and I used to watch Pro Box. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Shout out to TSM Harder. He says, I think the next generation of Japanese boxing will break the so-called Japanese style of boxing. Interesting. It's a very interesting way of thinking. I mean, look, you have a lot more Japanese fighters competing in higher weight classes now. So I think the general understanding that's happening in Japan right now is that, look, if you want to compete at these weight class like 130, 140, 147, 160, you're going to have to go ahead and get American sparring. You understand? You have to go get top level American sparring. I mentioned when Rick was on here and we were talking about Usyk Collazo, I said, look, make sure you tell All Star Boxing about Yugo Osaki. Let Yugo Osaki fight for a world title. He gets his hands on a title. Usyk Collazo will have someone that will have something for him. You know, he don't fight like a Japanese fighter. He fight like an American fighter. He got like a Bam Rodriguez, like Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko type style. That's his style. But I agree with you. I do feel like we are going to see a shift in like the Japanese fighters in terms of how they fight. It's not just going to be this disciplined, rigid ass mid-range style that some of these guys fight with. Thank you, TSM. Thank you. BT, do you think that the era of heavyweights being the glamour could be over for now? AJ and Fury are the only stars there. There might be bigger stars, other divisions. If so, what's the new glamour divisions? I mean, glamour divisions don't change. I think your glamour divisions in boxing are the divisions that have the most history. So heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, lightweight, bantamweight, and flyweight. I mean, your original 8 weight classes are always going to have some sort of glamour. 147 in a weaker period right now. 160's trash. I don't know about glamour, but there's a lot of very good young talent at light heavyweight. Like you got like Najee Lopez, Atif Overton, Ben Whitaker. I really like the young talent at light heavyweight. So I'm looking at light heavyweight to make a resurgence in the next few years. I don't know if I'd call it a glamour division, but there's a lot of good young talent in them weight classes. Man, what the hell is going on with Japanese sparring? Hayata Tsutsumi broke his orbital bone preparing for Jazz Diggins. Listen, I've been privy to a lot of Japanese sparring sessions. They're not sparring sessions. I mean, depending on which gym you go to, because it does differ gym to gym. I've been to 17 boxing gyms in Japan, all across Japan, from Tokyo to Okayama, way out in Okayama to Osaka to, you name it. I've been in a lot of these gyms. But for the most part, especially if it's not like, Ohashi gym, a lot of these gyms, it'd be like it's fights. Like they're not sparring sessions; they're actual literal fights. So I feel like, you know what, they got to do a better job at tapering that down. That's why a lot of these guys die in the ring, because they take a lot of punishment in sparring. Have I made a prediction for Matias versus Dalton Smith? I mean, I believe I did in my video, but I got Super Matias. I think. I mean, look, I'm not overlooking Dalton Smith. Dalton Smith's a good boxer puncher. I just don't think he has the experience at this level. And unlike Liam Parra, I don't think he has that tricky southpaw style. He's not gonna. If he's gonna beat Matias, he's not gonna beat him by outboxing. He's gonna have to hurt him and knock him out. I feel. That's what I'll say. Do you think Japan gave up on Jin and won't put money on him? Listen, I can't really say what it is because I gotta confirm it. There was a rumor that was fed to me today from somebody that I know about Jin Sasaki. If what I heard is true, which I'm not gonna say what it is, but if what I heard was true about Jin Sasaki, they are definitely not giving up on him at all. If what I heard today from a certain person in boxing that I know, if what I heard today is true, they are definitely not giving up on Jin Sasaki. I've talked to his gym owner, the chairman of the gym he trains at, and because he got his fight coming up soon. I was talking to him the other day, and from what I gathered, like they still believe in Jin Sasaki. So no, I don't think they've pulled back on anything. But I heard this crazy rumor today. I don't really believe it's true because it sounds like bullshit. But I won't say anything about it. But in the coming weeks and months, you guys may see some things if what I heard about Jin today is true. I don't know. It sounds like bullshit. Jin Sasaki's prime crash on material. Why give up on him? That's what I'm saying. I ain't giving up on him. He's must see TV because either he gonna knock someone out or he's getting knocked out. Like he's good for boxing. Like he's a good fighter for the division. He's a good fighter for boxing. He's a good fighter for Japanese boxing. He's probably got one of the best personalities in Japanese boxing. I don't care if he's flawed or if people think he's trash. He comes to fight. Man, Matias is not like that no more. Ever since he left PBC, Matias is not the boogeyman no more. Well, Hyro, you got to stop that Matias hate. He lost when he was signed to Eddie Hearn. He ain't signed to Eddie Hearn no more. He's fighting an Eddie Hearn fighter, but he himself is not an Eddie Hearn fighter. He's with what's that guy? Juan Orgullo and Fresh Productions in the building. By the way, like I'm not trying to down the event because I'm gonna be there. Like I've already talked to people there. I'm accepted. So I would like the event. I would like the event to do well. I like Matias. I think Matias is good for boxing, but from what I've been gathering and what I've been seeing, them tickets ain't moving too well. They're not moving well. I'm mentally preparing myself to go to New York City and for them to say, you know what, this fight is not happening. I don't know why. I mentally put that in my head already. So I hope that's not the case. But from what I've heard and from what I've seen, the tickets ain't moving like they're supposed to move. So Subaru Matias, I don't know, man. I don't know about how this fight's gonna do commercially, but it don't sound good right now. But we'll see. Maybe the Puerto Ricans come out in droves the last minute and do the thing, but I don't think so. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, Brennan Taylor, the untouchable Tru School Sports Empire. This is, in fact, Tru School After Dark. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Shout out to Rick Glaser. It was great to have Rick back on. It's been a while since I interviewed him. It's crazy. He goes on all these channels. The first channel he ever came to was this channel. Nobody ever interviewed Rick on YouTube before your boy BT. So it was good to have him back on. Yeah. But kind of going back to this comment right here from Osiris, Hayato Tsutsumi. I hope he gets healthy soon. I'm very pissed off that I didn't get to see him fight for the world title because he's a guy that I've been very high on for a while. I've literally called him like the Dimitri Bivol of Japanese boxing because his distance control and skill level was so high. And he was one of those guys, like, there's some fighters from Japan that I look at and I'm like, yeah, that guy's not winning a world title. Or if he has a world title, he won't hold it for very long. But he wasn't one of them guys. He was one of them guys where I was like, no. That guy, from the moment I saw him from his like first or second profile, I said, no. And that guy is definitely going to win a world title, and he's going to be a dominant factor in any weight class he competes in. And so I'm pissed off because Jazz Dickens is a good fighter. Jazz Dickens can fight. That was going to be a really good, technical fight and a chance for Hayato to really show like his level of skill. But I guess God has a plan. What is your opinion on Rene Santiago, who has won 2 championships in Japan's? Well, no, you're wrong. He won 2 championships in Japan's 100 or in the 108-pound division, not 105. I like Rene Santiago personally. Even though I think Asa Collazo is more skilled than Rene Santiago, I think with the recent upset victories over Shokichi Iwata and Takami, I feel like Rene Santiago right now, he's got a claim for the pound for pound number one in Puerto Rico right now. And until like these guys fight each other or one of them goes undisputed, I feel like it's up for grabs. So we'll see how it goes. Have you heard any news about the undercard of the Inoue-Nakatani in May? Well, they have the date on hold, but they haven't even really like finalized it. They haven't actually put the official fight poster out. Like that's not even out yet. So that's not even official yet, really, even though we know it's gonna happen. As far as Diakira, oh my God. Diakira versus Rene Santiago is going to be a crazy fight. Diakira doesn't fight anything like these Japanese guys Santiago's been beating. And mind you, I picked Rene to beat Takami, but like Takami and Iwata have very similar styles. Diakira don't fight nothing like them guys. That's a great fight. You know, the two Japanese guys in this weight class that would have something for Rene Santiago are Diakira and Yuga Osaki. Them two right there, I think could give him a really good fight, maybe even beat him. But I would like to see that fight happen if it could. Another title shot for Jin next year. That all really depends. You got to win this fight in February, and then we'll see if this crazy rumor that I heard that I can't talk. Man, I really hope what I heard earlier today was true. I pray to God it was true. Is Rohan Polanco versus Brian Norman Jr. a real top-ranked fight in the future? It's a good question. I asked Rick Glaser that question about Brian Norman Jr. I like that fight a lot. I think, under normal circumstances, if Top Rank still have the ESPN deal, Norman versus Polanco was a fight that you do in Atlanta. You give Brian Norman Jr. a homecoming fight, two punchers, do your thing. It'd be a lot of fun, but right now it's not a normal circumstance for Top Rank. They don't have a network. We're now in the fourth day of 2026, and there's no deal in sight for the fine folks at Top Rank. So right now, I don't know if that is a real fight, but under normal circumstances, it would be, but it's not now. Jin is nice, but his brother has real power. Kaku Suzuki's cool, but he's really just like Jin at welterweight. He's very undersized middleweight, and they better move his ass down. Or he better get really, really good at, setting up his punches and get the high level sparring, Do I still have Junto Nakatani on the pound for pound list after his performance against Hernandez? I do, but I would have him like on the fringes of the list. Like he would move down some spots. He's still like, look, even with the Hernandez fight, he's still 3-division champion. He's still a guy that's blown through a lot of, contenders in his weight class and things like that. He's still listen. One performance, I don't want to indict a guy for one bad performance. It does dampen the Inoue fight a little bit, but Junto Nakatani is still one of the best fighters out there. He's still one of the baddest fighters out there, hands down. Juan Polanco's gonna have a big year in 2026. I mean, he should. He's a very good fighter. He's an Olympian. He knows. Listen, I want to see him versus Norman. That's the fight I really want to see is him versus the mouth of the South, Brian Norman Jr. My man said you guys are going back and forth about Subriel and Dalton Smith. I don't know, man. I wish Dalton Smith the best. I think Subriel Matias is going to beat the hell out of him. I feel like people watch that Parle fight and they hold it against him because he had a bad. Any fighter can have a bad night. He didn't win the fight. It is what it is. Parle still went to the hospital. Parle literally had his eardrum busted instead of go to the hospital. So you fight Matias, you beat him, you still got to go ahead and you're gonna get sent to the hospital even if you win. He's one of them kind of fighters. Paul says, "Thank you, Paul. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank everybody, and listen, thank everybody, man. We had a very I didn't have the 2020. I didn't have the 2025 I wanted, but it was definitely a great learning experience year for me, and I think 2026 is going to be a year where we do even better, and hopefully, God willing, we find ourselves in Japan and Canada and Mexico and Puerto Rico and the UK. I'm trying to go to like 5 or 6 different countries this year. I'm trying to like give you guys boxing content no one else can give you. Salute BT. Honest question. Why don't you like the UFC? You don't want honesty. You don't want that kind of honesty. You don't want to go there. Like I try to show respect to MMA, but if you're gonna ask me the question in that manner, you're not gonna like the answer. So I'm not gonna answer it because I want to be respectful. Jonathan Gonzalez is going to get robbed against Sandoval. Are they gonna fight? That'd be a good fight. Two skilled boxers. Sandoval likes to move, counterpunch. So does Jonathan. Someone's got to be the aggressor in that fight. Will we get another interview with Jin on your next trip? For sure, definitely. That's not hard to set up, Jin. I know the whole gym. I go there all the time. I got a good relationship with the chairman of the gym, and Jin follows me on Instagram, so Jin's not a hard guy to get a hold of. So why not? That'll probably be one of the first guys I want to talk to when I go to Japan next time, for sure. I love Jin. Jonathan grew up in my area in Puerto Rico. I'm happy for him. He beat Chulo Santiago at 108 already. Jonathan Gonzalez is good. Yeah, Jonathan Gonzalez is very good. I mean, he's very good, but I got a gripe with him because he had one of the belts, and Kenshiro was trying to go undisputed at 108, and they wasn't. Like, he kept getting injured and pulling out of fights, and it's just like, bro. That's my only gripe with him is like that him pulling up the Kenshiro fight, and then when he fought Anthony Olasquaga, he completely quit in the fight. So it's like he's a very good fighter, but like them two fights really pissed me off. Like I kind of went down on him as far as my perception of him. But to be honest, like I'll answer the question, man. UFC, I don't like it. Like, what Bob Arum said about UFC. That's how I feel about that's how I feel about UFC. They're athletes, they train hard, they do their thing, but like I'm with Bob Arum when it comes to how I feel about UFC. It's not my thing. I'm a boxing guy. Canelo needs to get his poor elbow fixed. LOL. No Berlanga or Skull Caliber opponent available, though. How convenient. To be fair, though, the pick of his arm in a sling looks authentic. Listen, Canelo Alvarez, I don't care if his arm was healthy, not healthy. He was never, ever going to fight Luis Iglesias. That's not the Canelo MO. He's not going to fight a guy who's young, fresh, southpaw, dangerous, Cuban with punching power in both hands in his prime. Nah, he ain't going to fight him. I don't care if he had 3 arms. He's not going to fight that guy. If Matias is so good, why did he hurt Liam Paul like Dea Papo? He busted his eardrum and he had to go to the hospital. What are you talking about? All UK fighters collapse at the championship level. Dalton and Nick Ball will lose this year. Well, I don't want to hate on UK fighters. British boxers. UK is still one of the top 3 to 4 best countries in the whole sport of boxing. Yes, a lot of their fighters do lose big fights, but a lot of the fighters win big fights. So, I mean, I'm not going to hate on the UK fighters. What I will say is this. You mentioned Nick Ball. Listen, if Frank Warren wants to run that Angelo Leo fight with Nick Ball, then your statement will be proven very, very true. So I agree with you. Iglesias is putting Canelo straight to sleep. Shit. We'll never find out because Canelo's not going to fight him. Listen, guys, Canelo is not going to fight no guy who's promoted by Eye of the Tiger management. Like, a lot of their fighters are like higher. All their fighters, damn near, are higher risk, low reward kind of fighters. I don't care. We're talking about Mahmoudov or not Mahmoudov. Is he Eye of the Tiger? Like, and Billy, like all their guys, higher risk, low reward. Yeah, but Canelo has this great chin though, right? Are you going to the UK if Nick Ball fights Angelo Leo? Yes. I'm part of the team, so I have to be there. Angelo Leo with Pulver, I agree, but it'd be a good fight. Nick Ball can make it fight ugly. BT, what's going on with this Resendiz stuff? The shit's moving funny for me. Canelo versus Resendiz in September. I feel like that's a fight Canelo would take, like Resendiz versus Canelo. If Mexican versus Mexican. Watching the playback, Rick just dropped the jewel. Every fighter struggle with someone on their way up, and that's facts. That's true. Every fighter. Like even to a degree, like I wasn't like as close as other guys, but like Naoya Inoue. His guy was Ryoichi Taguchi. Angel Leo's guy was Aaron Alameda. Who else? I mean, there's so many guys you could name in boxing. I mean, Teofimo Lopez's guy was Masayoshi Nakatani. Ryan Garcia's guy was, what's his name? He won, but he didn't look good. Braulio Rodriguez. Edgar Belanga's guy was Marcelo Coceres. Dave Benavidez' guy was Ronald Graville. I mean, that's the case for everyone. Oh, y'all want to ask me about politics. What do you think about this Venezuela thing? Listen, this is Tru School Sports. This is a boxing channel. This ain't no political channel. But, I'll just say, good for the people of Venezuela. That's all I'll say. I'll leave it at that. It's good for them. Even in Billy doesn't want to fight Iglesias. Well, I don't think they would ever fight. They have the same promotional company. I think even if he wanted to fight Iglesias, I don't think either Tiger management would be happy. I don't think they will let them fight. Those are the two best guys. Like, those are the two best guys. Nah, that fight would never happen unless it made a lot of financial sense. Y'all got to realize BT is going to be present for every Angel Leo fight. He ain't Nah, I mean, look, I've known Angelo for 5 years, right? The first Angelo fight I ever went to was Aaron Alameda. So from Aaron Alameda to Tomoki Kameda, I've been at every Angelo fight. And that means Houston, Texas, Plant City, Florida, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Osaka, Japan. I've been there. So I'm going to be at any fight he's at. So don't even ask that question. My man Joel says, BT, don't end the live early today. We're lit tonight. Listen, okay. Just because you asked so kindly and I like you, Joel. What is it? 156? When it's like 2:15, I'll give you guys another 10, 15 minutes. I'm feeling okay. I had a good day today. I got 10 prospect and contender review videos I gotta do soon because I finally finished my notes today. So I'm really excited about that. Nakatani has a foreign trainer. How unusual is that for a Japanese fighter? It's let me see. How unusual is it? I would say it's not as unusual as you would think because, I mean, when I think about the Japanese fighters, I mean, you mentioned Rudy Hernandez with Junto. You've got Kazuto Ioka with Ismail Salas. My boy Yugo Asahi got a foreign trainer. I mean, it's at the top level. It's not as uncommon as you think, but it still is quite uncommon because one thing about that culture over there is they like to keep everything, in house. So, do you like Lester Martinez at 168? I feel like he'd smoke and Billy in a rematch. I love Lester Martinez. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I like him a lot. I think he's a fun fighter to watch. He punches very, very hard. I don't know about smoke him. He had a very hard time with that volume. I don't think he beat Billy, or I don't think it was a draw. I thought he lost by at least 2 or 3 rounds. I think Billy beats him again. I thought Billy beat him the first time. Damn, Matias versus Puello 2 is boring. If Matias, that fight don't make no sense. Like, with all respect to the former champion, Puello, a very good fighter. That fight makes literally 0 sense. Like, Matias is he's 33 now. He's trying to get the big fights. He's trying to get the guys like Shakur. He's trying to get the guys like, T.O., Lamont Roach, whatever. Isak Cruz. Nah, man, that's going backwards. Now, if he gets a belt, then it makes sense again. But right now, it don't make no sense. Do you think the Japanese boxing system is good because everything has to go through Ohashi? I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. The pros of, and it's not necessarily Ohashi, it's more so Mr. Honda. The pros of that is that, for the most part, they have a consistent stream of fights and dates. They get a lot of dates, whether you're a prospect or a contender or a high-level champion. In Japan, there's always a consistent amount of fight dates because everything's so well organized and taken care of, and they're very self-sufficient over there. But what I will say is this, and this is something that I've spoken about with some of my friends, my Japanese American friends that are involved in boxing. For every Kenshiro or like a Junto Nakatani, just those top guys we know about, There's plenty of guys that are not, elite creme de la creme fighters, but still very good, action fighters, maybe fringe level guys that could be very entertaining that are not being talked about. Guys like Masahiro Suzuki at 140 or Koki Tyson, some of the guys that have had you on the channel. Like, I feel like those are guys that could come to the States and fight on like a Pro Box TV and do a very good job and be the kind of fighters that captivate the imaginations of boxing fans in the States because of their fighting styles, because of their personalities, things like that, their quote unquote aura. Those guys don't really have much people looking after them. So I want the middle part of Japanese boxing to either get more fights at the top level so they can, have a career or be able to come to the States. That's the only drawback I feel like. If you're not an elite fighter in Japan, it's hard. Oh, good question. Top 3 Japanese fighters you want to interview that you haven't yet. Well, that's very easy. I'll name the two fighters that so you guys don't know this, but I actually had Hayato Tsutsumi and Masamichi Ibuki agree to do interviews with me, but logistically when I was there, we were in different parts of the country, so our schedules never lined up. So I'll say Ibuki and Hayato Tsutsumi would be number 1 and number 2 respectively, and then third I'll say Naoya Inoue, the biggest one there is. I still like to get it. There's a lot of history with that interview. I don't know if I'll ever get it. I'm gonna try. If I don't, it is what it is. If I do, obviously that'd be great. But yeah. Is Kenshiro Taraji's best aging win Ibuki? Yes, I would definitely say it's Ibuki. Ibuki's a monster. Ibuki, I really wish we lived. I wish Bam would fight Ibuki. Like people talk about all these guys that Bam's been fighting or how great Bam is. Bam is a fantastic fighter. I like Bam, but man, him versus Ibuki, Tomoya Suboi, like them guys. I think Naoya Inoue will become a A-list global celebrity if only he learned English. He knows a little English. He spoke English a little bit at the Boxing Writers Association of America Award about 2 years ago, because now in 2026, but yeah, 2 years ago. And I think he understands. I think he's picking up a little English because I've been watching him when they speak English. He's picking up more. It seems like he understands what they're saying. So, yeah, I mean, if only. What's crazy about him is that, early in his career, he was a pure puncher. But like as he's gotten better, as he's gotten older, and as he's matured, so have his skills. Now you see Ibuki out here power boxing dudes, like really just he's become a good technical fighter along with a great knockout artist. He's blended, the ability to power box you around the ring and then still knock you out. So I feel like he's as dangerous as anybody in the weight classes. If you're a guy like, Oscar Collazo or Bam or Ricardo Sandoval, if you feeling froggy and you want to prove some pound for pound type stuff, go run it with him. That's one of them guys in them lower weight categories. But we all know what it is. Like if you really up on game, you know what it is. He's blackballed because for those that don't know, there's politics in Japan, even like there is in America. You got Mr. Honda controlling everything, right? He's the head honcho, everything. And then you have the Kamedas, 3150 Promotions, right? They have a bunch of fighters too. And Ibuki is in line with them. So if you're in line with them, you can't really fight the guys that are aligned with Mr. Honda. So that means Ibuki, in all likelihood, he's not going to fight Anthony Olasquaga ever, even though they're both champions in the same weight class. That's how the cookie crumbles. Sidebar: Oscar Collazo is talented and elite at this division, but will like 300 fighters at minimum weight he be on anybody's pound for pound list? I don't have a problem with what you're saying. I would actually have so people think that just because Oscar Collazo is 105 pounds and I love a lot of weight categories that I just automatically have him pound for pound top 10. And Rick, you guys heard Rick here earlier. Like he has Oscar. He told me earlier on the phone before he even got on here. He said, I've had Oscar Collazo pound for pound top 10 for over a year. He's underrated, right? But for me, it's like, okay, if you're going to be in a weight class that only has 300 fighters, then what you got to do is either A, there has to be a guy in your division who's a pound for pound caliber fighter, which for him, there's no power pound caliber guys at 105 that are champions. But what you can do is solidify yourself as the guy in the division. And you can say he has, because he did beat Melvin Jerusalem. He did beat knockout CP Freshmart. So he has done that to a degree. But I got to see him fight Pedro Tajuan. Listen, guys, Pedro Tajuan almost killed someone. He almost killed Jinjo Shioka. I'm not glorifying that, but I'm only saying that to highlight how serious of a problem he is. That's the fight for me. If Usyk Collazo, for me, wants to get pound consideration, he needs to go fight Pedro Tajuan. Until then, he just misses the cut. And look, if you don't want to run it with anybody at 105, go up to 108 and go fight Rene Santiago and do a big Puerto Rican super fight and go become a 2-division champion. Then you got guys there. You got good fighters there. You also got Mexicans in that weight class. So you got Sergio Mendoza Cordova, who's a good Mexican. You got Eric Badillo. If you really want to see what it is, you can go run it with the future face of Japanese boxing, my boy Yugo Osaki, and you guys will see. And everybody will be put on notice. But yeah, he needs a dance partner. There's dance partners for him. I just don't think I don't know if Golden Boy wants to put him in with certain guys. I think they want to continue to strategically maneuver him and get him more fights and more attention and build his profile before they put him in there with the likes of guys like Rene Santiago or any of those types of guys. I think you're gonna see more like maybe 1 or 2 fights of guys in the top 15. Like the Jason Vazon type opponents. And that's what it is. But for me, look, if I could be the commissioner of boxing, you say BT, you get 3 fights to make for Usyk Collazo. What are the 3 fights? I'm gonna tell you guys in chronological order what they are. Number 1, Usyk Collazo versus Yugo Osaki at 108. Yugo's the truth, and he will beat Usyk Collazo. Number 2, Usyk Collazo versus Rene Santiago. The all Puerto Rican super fight, okay? And then number 3, you could do Usyk Collazo against, maybe not right now because he doesn't got a belt, but if he gets a belt, I would like to see Usyk Collazo fight the Mexican Sergio Mendoza Cordova, big power punching southpaw at 108. Those are my 3 fights, and probably the only one that I named that's realistic is the second one, which is Rene Santiago. But if it was, and then of course Pedro Tajuan will be honorable mention. But truth be told, I'm just saying Pedro because that's the weight class is in. I would much rather see Oscar go up to 108 and explore 2-division glory there. Cyrus says, I'm with you, BT. Moving up is inevitable for Collazo. Go for the smoke and become a 2-division. Yeah, man. That's really the path. That's the path I see. I'm hoping that certain guys can get their hands on belts. So when he goes up there, there's real smoke up there for him. Because right now, you got Connie Salas, the WBC champion in recess. You got, I think CP Freshmart is the BC. I forgot who has the BC. I think it's him. One of those Thailand guys with him. And then you got Santiago's unified, right? And then you got Simsiri. So right now, it's not exactly a murderer's row. But, if a guy like Sergio Mendoza Cordova or Yugo Osaki or Eric Badillo, one of them kind of guys, Daya Kira as well, one of them guys, you got Santiago, one of them 4 guys get their hands on the belt, things will look more encouraging at 108. I don't give a damn. I mean, I do. I would like Yugo to win a belt, but I'm saying any one of those 4 guys get a belt at 108. Then things become much more exciting for me personally. Dave Asher says, you mentioned Troy Williamson for Iglesias. I think Iglesias would run right through him. Maybe, but one thing about Troy is Troy is going to come to fight. Troy is going to give you an all-action fight. Troy can punch. He's a strong, sturdy guy at 68. He could beat Callum Simpson. A lot of people didn't think he'd be Callum Simpson. He's had a lot of fights in his career, mostly at British level, that people didn't think he was going to win. And he won. He's been an overachiever in his career. So really, if he gets an Iglesias fight, he's playing with house money. It don't even matter. If he wins, it's just a bonus at this point because he wasn't supposed to get this far. I thought he lost to Harry Scarf 6 years ago. When he fought, he lost to Josh Kelly, but he did beat Ted Cheeseman, who a lot of people thought Ted Cheeseman was going to beat Troy. So my thing is, Troy is an overachiever. Yes, an overachiever at British level. He's never really been a top. He's a fringe world level at best type of fighter, Shout out to my boy Beat Bop Jones. Good to see you, champ. Hope all is well. I'm going behind here for like another 5 to 10 minutes. So get your comments in. Smash that like button. Cyrus says he thinks that John Orobio is going to have a breakout year. Yeah, shout out to John Orobio. He's a guy that a lot of people have been talking up. I've seen bits and pieces of him. Based on what I've seen and based on where he's at in the rankings, it looks like it could definitely be a year of big time progression for John Orobio. I'm looking forward to seeing do his thing. But yeah, happy New Year to everybody out there. Hopefully everybody's having a good start to the new year. You know, hopefully everybody's. I don't want to call them new. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I believe in lifestyle changes. So we don't do New Year's resolutions. You make lifestyle changes. So pick one thing in your life and just try to change it to the best of your ability. Like one thing for me that I'm doing a lot better of so far, I'm making sure in the afternoons I get my run in. 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. That's when I go for my run. And that's like my only goal for the year. Have you been able to gather anything on this guy at 175 named Albert Ramirez? I think that's his name. He's from Venezuela. I know he's a WBA interim champion. I'm not gonna lie to you and act like I've watched him fight. I haven't. But what I can tell you is I know in the amateurs that Albert Ramirez fought a guy that I am familiar with. He fought Juan Carlos Carrillo from Colombia, who's also ranked at light heavyweight. And Juan Carlos Carrillo is a good fighter, Colombian Olympian. He's beating some decent guys in the pros. He'll be a guy that gets a big fight, I think, this year at light heavyweight because he's ranked and it's his time. He's been professional long enough. I think I could be wrong, but I think Juan beat him because I did a prospect review video on Juan Carlos Carrillo, or contender review video if you want to say now, on Juan Carlos Carrillo. I haven't done the video yet. I took notes. I'm going to do a video on Juan Carlos Carrillo. So I was researching him like 2 days ago, and I saw that Albert Ramirez, him fought in the amateurs. Thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, more great lives on the way. Do you still think Zaki can be a champion? Right now in his present form, no. If he wants to be champion, he needs to really bring his ass to the States for an extended period of time. He can bring he can bring his coaches if he wants, but I'm not talking about like going to Ismail Salas like that. Not that type of training. I'm talking about you need to get with a trainer and a team that's gonna have you transitioning from offense to defense, amplifying your strengths and cutting down on your weaknesses. You understand? Until he does that and takes that step, I don't think so. I think in a thin welterweight division, if he was guided the right way and the right guy is there for him to fight, possibly. But right now, I would say no. But I want him to. Trust me, I would love him to. Let's see. BT, I disagree with Rick. Zurdo and Benavidez is big because they're Mexican, but more recognizable name is Benavidez. They wanted to put Zurdo in the Cudi Roach undercard and Palm Desert. That's very true. That's actually a hell of a point I wrote. He was supposed to fight what's that guy's name? Some European guy. I can't remember his name. That's true though. I don't know if it's not that he doesn't like him. I've spoken to Rick off YouTube about Boots. He's hurt. I know he's got reports, certain things back about Boots. I don't know what's true or what's not. I tend not to believe any reports I hear about anything unless I was there. But he just sees him as a front runner. That's what it is. Hey BT, I want to know what's your prediction for Takuma versus Ioka. I don't have one right now. I don't have one really, right? I don't. Off rip, if I gotta make one on the spot, I'll probably say Takuma. I want to see Obesi versus Jan Santana. Good fight. You got Cuba versus the Dominican Republic. That'd be good. Decent fight for the featherweight division. But I don't know, man. Robesi trains down in South. He trains in South Florida, and I know some of his sparring partners. I'll be hearing things. I don't know, man. I don't know if Robesi has it in him to keep boxing at that top level, from what I hear. But we'll see. Have you seen all the rumors about Tank fighting Pac-Man? Do you think that will actually happen? Rick mentioned it, and I didn't really catch on to it. I haven't seen the rumors, but I remember Rick mentioned something about Pacquiao. I mean that's probably the best he's going to be able to do because he didn't get the Jake Paul fight, and the Jake Paul fight was supposed to be the fight that cashed him out and allowed him to live a nice life after boxing, and like he always said, go be on an island somewhere. So I don't know. That's really I don't think he can do any better than that. Like as far as payday, as far as a big fight, as far as recognition and those things that he's looking not really recognition because Tank doesn't care about being recognized. He wants to get up out of here. He's looking for that money on. What did I make of Jesus Ramos at 160 when he faced Mosley? I thought Mosley put up a great fight. I'm still mad at Ramos though. He should have smashed Lubin like Virgil did. Well, Ramos is a good fighter. He in weight classes where guys are a bit stronger and sturdier, he's not as dynamic as Virgil. Virgil is a much more dynamic offensive fighter. Virgil is going to, be able to get a lot of guys out of there because Virgil has one of the best power jabs in the business. Virgil can angle off on you. Ramos doesn't have those nuances or that kind of level of dexterity to his skill set. So that's not gonna happen for him, unfortunately. So but as far as the Mosley fight, I mean, I thought it was a good fight. I thought Mosley fought to the best visibilities. He was landing that right hand and he was trusting his right hand a lot, and sometimes it was working for him in the fight, but ultimately Ramos was too big. He was just too big for him. If they're the same, closer in size and frame, he might have been able to beat him, but just the combination of volume and size that got Ramos over the hump. Do you think Robeisy can give Naya a bit of trouble if they thought Naya has an opportunity to become to bag a 2-time Olympic gold medalist? At this, I'm telling you right now, I'm not gonna say no names. I'm not gonna tell you what I know. I know people who spar Robeisy, and what I'm hearing about Robeisy these days is not encouraging. So I wish him the best, but listen, even when he was at his best, even before Espinosa beat him, that was never like Robeisy to me was never a guy I looked at and said, yeah, that guy is beating Inoue. A lot of people they get a hard on because he had a gold medal, but this is the professional ranks. I mean, it's cool if you have a gold medal, but ultimately you got to transition to the pros, and he still does some things in an amateur fashion. And look, he fought a guy in Espinosa who don't got the crazy amateur background and really just did his thing in Mexico on the club scene, and that was enough in the later rounds. So no, not then, not now. No. Ramos is still young, and besides, he looks older than you, BT. Well, he's getting punched in the face and probably stressed out. I don't know. A lot of people don't take care of themselves like your boy BT does. I get my runs in. I don't drink often. Only celebratory. I don't smoke anything but my celebratory cigars once or twice a year. I didn't smoke any cigars last year because I had the year I wanted last year, so there was nothing to really celebrate. But yeah, I don't got no crazy woman stressing me out. So when you can do those three things, when you can minimize those three things, you'll be all right. What's happened to Aoi Yokoyama? I haven't heard about him in a while. He's still with Kameda and them in 3150 Promotions. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, right now, I don't believe he has anything scheduled. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll check for you. Right now, he doesn't have anything scheduled. So right now, he's probably just training. But if nothing happens between now and then, I know where to find him. I know where he trains at. So somebody was asking me earlier about Japan interviews when I go back there. That's when we'll get the Aoi Yokoyama. They're just saying that because Ramos got a full beard and he's in his early mid-20s. Listen, man, I'm not here to judge guys and their looks. I'll leave that to the people that enjoy that type of thing. Women, different story, different discussion. My man said only water. Don't drink them. Yeah. Come on, man. You know the deal. You know the deal. It's all water over here. All H2O. Tru School Sports powered by H2O. Water and black coffee. That's it. That's the way to go. Water and black coffee. No alcohol, no soda. Water, black coffee, and the daily protein smoothie we drink. Mixed fruits, almond milk, vanilla protein. All right, guys. Last 10 minutes, and I'll make it an even 2.5 hours, just because I'm feeling you good today, you guys. It's been a good live. Make sure you smash the like button. First live 2026. Let's see where it goes. Do I drink matcha? I just had matcha for the first time when I was in Japan for Angelo's fight. Shout out to my boy Joseph Macedo, 122-pound budding contender. I was out there with him. We were out and about one day. We were in Harajuku in Tokyo. We were in Harajuku, and he was like, "BT, we gotta try this matcha place." And I'm like, "I don't drink matcha," so I went there and I had matcha. It was pretty good. I don't drink it. I haven't had it since May, but it was cool. Is Claressa Shields overhead feuding with 50 Cent? I don't know anything about that, man. I'm just here for the boxing. I don't know about what Claressa Shields has going on with Papoose and 50 Cent. I'll leave that to the other people on YouTube to talk about. I'm here for the boxing. That's why, sometimes, many times, I don't get the most views because I just talk about boxing. And like Rolly said when I was in Orlando, the things that get the least amount of views in the boxing world is boxing. But if I was here talking crazy about other content creators, calling them hoes and bitches and shit like that, views be crazy because people like drama. They like that stuff. I'm here for the boxing. If I was here, talking about Claressa Shields and Papoose and all the messy stuff that's going on, that should be easy views. But we don't go for the easy views. We go for what's real, and whoever's meant to be here will be here. What's next for Virgil? They're dragging their feet. I don't know, man. That's okay. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Maybe Brandon Adams. Do you think that Usyk might double back and fight Wall like he did with Dubois to get his belt? He should do that. I mean, technically, he should. I mean, Woolley beat Parker, and I was campaigning for Parker to fight him. So if you beat the guy that I was campaigning to fight you, then you should get the fight. It's common sense. When are the Panthers going to plan for the future because the goalie is aging, Barkov is wear and tear like Matthew Tkachuk? The future has been planned for. We got young players. We got Anton Lundell. We got Mackie Semiskevich. The Panthers be all right. Right now, it looks gloomy for the Panthers. They got their ass belt to ass last night. The New York Rangers came and humiliated them at Marlins Park last night in the Winter Classic. I was pretty sad about that. But when it matters, the Panthers will figure it out like they always do. 3-peat on the way. What were your thoughts on Serrano versus Tellez? I didn't watch it, so I don't have any thoughts. I was live here at Rick. I didn't see the main event. I just know from that card, the only fight on that card I really cared about was Yanky Rivera and Jonathan Gonzalez, and it was good to see Jonathan Gonzalez win. I thought he was going to win. It was good to see him do his thing against Yankiel. I cared about Stephanie Hahn's fight. I don't know if she beat. I don't know if she beat Holly Holm, but I have an affinity for Stephanie Hahn. But that's neither here nor there. She's married. Am I going to Japan with Zattel? I'm going to Japan with or without Sean. I love Sean. I've told Sean that he should go to Japan for this fight, but like I said, I went to Japan 2023. I went to Japan 2024. I went to Japan 2025. I will be in Japan 2026. So shit don't change with BT. BT will be in Japan. Do you think Seigo Yuri-Koi could win a world title? I really hope he does. Again, I would love to. I love Seigo Yuri-Koi. Probably one of my favorite people in all boxing. What is he at 112? I mean, yeah, I think he could, but I mean, that Ken Shiro fight, that's one of the fights where you're gonna lose probably a step or two, So he's fighting a real uphill battle. I'd like to see him go train again. I feel like I have a better chance just of seeing where he's at if I go to his gym in Okayama again, which I had a great experience. Shout out to them. It was a great time. But yeah, hopefully, he's one of the genuine good guys in Japanese boxing. So I'll like to see him go in there. He gets you a great fights. Why not? Amanda Serrano, and it's in the super chat. Amanda Serrano versus T.R. Brown. Who wins? Good fight. I'm not gonna sit here and act like a women's boxing expert. If there was ever a time where I'm super disconnected with women's boxing, it's right now. I don't really watch it like that, but I've watched enough Serrano and T.R. Brown to have an opinion. Serrano was in the back nine. Not like she's still very good, but she's made a lot of money in boxing. She's Tiara has the right style for her. I think Tiara could probably outwork her in that fight. Mende can't get her off with shots and be the sharper fighter in between the shots, then I think Tiara will probably just out hustle to a decision. But that's a good fight. Are you going to watch Anthony Gonzalez on the? I don't know who Anthony Gonzalez is. Do you think Rick is selling Obatai short? I think he's got vulnerabilities. He did say he was high on him. I mean, personally, and I know I'm going to be alone on this one, but I think Jao Bataya should be probably ahead of Asa Collazo on pound for pound. He has a better win. Marius Brides is better than everybody that Collazo has defeated. That's just me, though. Yeah, I made a video about it. I gotta do another video about that actually because Ken Shiro, yeah, like you said, Ken Shiro saw him at the buffet and Ken Shiro was very pissed off about it. So I'll be doing a video on that soon. Just really a lot of games being played. Albert Gonzalez, I mean, yeah, I'll check him out. Why not? The 17th would be a pretty slow time for boxing. Rene Santiago versus CP Freshman. Who wins? Rene Santiago. What kind of question is that? That's what I'm saying. Like, you can sit here and say he's fighting like not in the bums or whatever you want to call them, cans or not good fighters, but when you put like multiple guys back to back in the hospital, and then you got 2 wins over Marius Brides, I mean, it's something to consider. It really is. That's the fight I want to see. And quiet as kept. I gotta hit up Ryan Rozicki for an interview soon because he was supposed to be on this channel like 18 weeks ago, and then I went to camp with Yuga, and then I got busy, and then yeah. So I want to have him on the channel. I like Ryan Rozicki a lot. Really interesting guy, fun fighter to watch. Come on, man. It's terrible. Like I don't want to down women's fighters because the first gym that I ever trained at, like the place where I really like got a deeper understanding for boxing, was Canino's boxing gym in Dania Beach. Bonnie Canino, former champion, Yvonne Reese, the original WBC middleweight champion. Like I have a soft spot for women's boxing because I've dealt with women's fighters, in the boxing gym. But it's like, man, 3 minutes is bullshit. Like, women's boxing is better when it's 2 minutes because they get right to it. The pace is higher, and they're not punching like that. Like, they think because they're 3 minutes, they're going to be like Brian Ullman Jr. or better BF. No, you guys are not punching like that. You need 3 minutes to put the punches together and get them out of there. Y'all not punching like that. Let's protest for Ken Shiro. That's what I'm saying. Ken Shiro needs to get his shot at the IBF title. They signed the contract. He was professional. He made weight. This guy didn't. The guy that didn't make the weight, Wabaldo, listen, this ain't the first time Wabaldo pulled out of a fight against a Japanese fighter. He had a fight against Kosei Tanaka scheduled years ago. I made a video about it. I remember I didn't know who Wabaldo was at that time, and he pulled out of that fight. So whenever he fights a Japanese fighter, he pulls out. I don't know why. There's not very many women lasting in 3-minute rounds with the likes of Bro, I'm so serious. When it comes to women's boxing, I'm a casual. I know the last girl, she gets beat up on Beatrice Ferreira, but like I'm not up on women's boxing because in 2020 was it 320? Yeah, when I said, you know what, I'm gonna cover Japanese boxing on a much deeper level. Something had to get sacrificed, and women's boxing was what I chose to sacrifice. Bro, these women be putting bitches down. Yeah, no, for sure. I seen that one because I actually watched it before I came on this live because my boy Howard was showing me. I saw it today. He does have a chance. I'm not gonna write him off, but I got Sandoval on that fight. I got Ricardo on that fight. But guys, on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We're at the 2.5 hour mark. I appreciate everybody who watched the live, and I appreciate Rick for his time, and definitely want to do more things like this and have more guests on because I feel like I kind of got away from that and I got lazy. So 2026, we will not be lazy. So listen, you guys take care. Not sure when I'll be live next. So whenever I see you again, I see you again. But in the intermediate time, there's going to be plenty of videos coming out here on Tru School Sports. So stay tuned for those. And big things are happening in the fight game in the boxing world. So yeah, you guys take care. God bless, and see you next time.